Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 10 of the 2014 UltraNet Supercup season. We're here in Germany at the Hockenheim Ring, and so far we've had two fantastic WSS races, we've had two highly entertaining Formula Challenge races, and here for your pleasure today we are going to have what we hope to be another two awesome, action-packed, hopefully incident-free races which have been littered over this wonderful season so far. My name's James Kirk, with you as always, and alongside me once again is my faithful companion, it's Lewis McGlade. And well, just heading into qualifying now, Lewis was topped by Kevin Siggy, but only just from Sven de Vries, so the championship leader there at the top once again. But I think the races are going to be particularly interesting today. I say we hope there's going to be an incident-free couple of races, but we've seen it in the Formula Challenge yesterday, and we saw it in WSS last week as well. The corners around this circuit don't necessarily lend themselves to safe overtaking, do they?
No, there's a lot of corners here, and a lot of the hairpin, the turn 4. Hairpin is a big one for incidents, and there's just a few corners, especially in these cars, that you are going to have a few incidents around. You said that Kevin Siggy topped the practice session. He is second on track at the moment behind teammate Fran Lopez. Those positive boys are trying to get out very early in this session to set their times. Fran's looking pretty quick, so I don't think he'll hold his teammate up too much, but those positives are they're amongst the top 5 between the two of them. And you say Kevin Siggy was the fastest in that session. He was only just in front of Sven de Vries, who is clearly looking for a good position at the end of this championship. Obviously P1, but we'll have to keep an eye on that, winning one of the races last time out, but not the second one.
Now, Fran's got a lot of reason to be confident here. Won his second WSS race of the season. Let's go on board with him now to take you around the Hockenheim Ring. If you haven't been around here before, going to the very fast turn 1.
Wow.
A lot of mentions of you shouldn't exceed track limits there just in case you gain time. Not often the case, but they will be investigated if you do go beyond the limits. So often going to turn 2 and turn 3 now. Very slow corner going out into a bit of a dip, so can lose the car around there. And onto this lovely left long curve. I call it a back straight because it essentially is that. A lot of slipstream action going on here, and then into the turn 5, turn 6 hairpin, whatever you count as a turn. That is where I'm expecting to see an incident if there is one. A lot of different braking zones there for people, and a lot of different top speeds as well. Heading now into this tricky left-hander. Actually, I find this section the most difficult because you've got that tight left-hander, and then this left-right here. You have to carry speed through that and hope that you don't get straddled onto that curb on your left. That's where you gain most of the time, but it's very dangerous and risky if you do want to choose to push it. Going around the right-hander now into the Mercedes section, into this left-hander. Lovely banked curves these ones are, so can get a lot of time through there if you are carrying enough speed. And then into another tricky last section there, a left and a right undulation, and then a double right-hander for the end of the lap. Heading onto the final straight now, Fran Lopez bringing it right out to the edge, and a 1:20.6 is provisional pole, instantly deposed by Kevin Siggy with a 1:19.8 though.
Yeah, he completely missed the apex on the first turn. That's why I went, ooh. It was not a very pretty sight for Fran through that first turn. But yeah, 20.6, that's about 7/10 off what he did in the practice session. Kevin Siggy, about 2/10 off of his. So, we've got a bit of time to be found. Sorry, it was 4/10 off for Kevin Siggy even. A bit of time to be found for these drivers, as we always have in these qualifying sessions. And who will get that lap out towards the end. We've seen sometimes as Tom Parker moves up into the pole position. Quickly then his teammate takes that as they do a 19.641 and a 19.560 respectively. But it's always been a theme of this, that there's always one driver who's got this pace before the event that can't quite put the lap together in qualifying. It's always been the case this season. So we just have to see which one that's going to be. Maurice Bracan moves up into P4 for PB Racing, a 1:19.999.
He was looking very impressive last time in Britain, was Maurice, in the reverse grid race, and he was only through contact. I can't remember who it was with, but he was looking genuinely for a top 5 finish had he been able to make it to the end. Wasn't to be for Maurice, but the German looking on increasingly good form. Let's actually look at, while there's a little bit of a lull here, at certain things coming into this event, which are like the penalties, so on, drivers. So, from last time out in Britain, no grid penalties to bring forward to us here today, but there was a major change in position as Kevin Siggy lost his podium due to an avoidable contact incident. I can't remember what it was for exactly. It must have been off screen because I don't remember it. But he's lost it, and so Tom Parker, who currently sits P3, just behind Philip Pushka, who's gone up into P2, he now inherits that podium. And so Siggy, and by means of that positive, lose a load of points. Big news today, the return of Ascari Canton, and Jonathan Holmes did very well filling in that Adonis seat. But I think they're going to be feeling much more safe with the Finn back in that seat now. 4 wins, the second most to De Vries, 2 pole positions, and he's been looking very competitive round here again today. So recovered from his leg injury, lovely to see him back. Who else is new? We welcome Jesper Tolborg. Driving for Waters Automotive for the next 4 rounds, I think, actually, is Jesper. The latest of the FC recruits to come up into Super Cup. Looking reasonably competitive, but nothing stellar. Currently behind, actually, fellow FC promotee, now complete FC promotee, Scott Beresford. We also welcome Dewald Nell, South African, driving for Fox Racing. Recent addition to GPVWC, was driving in the Open Series yesterday. I can't remember where he finished, but lovely to see a new face here as well. We wish him the best of luck. And I think that is just about it actually. No other new names.
Yeah, I think that's about it, as Scott Beresford moved himself up into the top 10 to be moved out by Timu Toika. I don't think... Has Timu done a round this season before?
He has, he's done plenty.
Yeah, see, it's okay. My brain sometimes doesn't quite remember. I remember seeing on my little track map whilst driving yesterday that he was up there fighting for the lead before Strana came on and ran away with it. But yeah, Timu's in a good position. He moved himself up into the top 10, as we've said. You say about Jesper Tolborg, he's quick, but you know he's done a 20.7 at the moment, so you know he really needs to get a little bit faster than that if he can. We've you say Scott Beresford's up here as well, and those two were fairly close in Formula Challenge and clearly fairly close in Super Cup as well. Current pole position being held by the Florian guys still with that 19.5. Philip Pushka is in second position. He's the only one that's gotten closer. He's 8 thousandths away. So can Kevin Siggy pull off a lap? We saw him do it in Austria when he took that win, that pole position in the win. But he hasn't done anything like that since. So could this be his moment?
Potentially. It's been an up and down season for Siggy, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
Started on very much a low, and it's never really got going to the stage where he can say, yes, I'm lovely and secure in this Super Cup field now, and the incident from Britain taking away his podium pays tribute to that, unfortunately. But he certainly looked much improved compared from when we first saw him in Melbourne, is the Austrian. Co-sitting in P4, certainly not hurting his chances of a good result here today. So let's see who's out of position at the moment.
Sven de Vries, P12.
Yeah.
He's going to cross the line, doesn't he? I think that might have been just to start a lap. But yeah, he's done a 20.2 so far. Let's put him in 12th position. We've seen this before as well from Championship leader Sven de Vries back in Austria even, when he qualified something like 11th and just couldn't get the car sorted. It was only in the second race which he actually won. When he had that setup sorted. So maybe he's not quite comfortable with the car at the moment, but running in 12th position is not where he wants to be. But he still has a long lead of this championship. It's 46 points that Sven de Vries holds Jason Muscat, but James will get into that between qualifying and the first race.
It's 56 points.
Is it 56 points? Oh.
Over 2 race wins is his advantage.
Wow.
So even if he was to non-score and Jason Muscat in second takes 2 wins, he would still be championship leader coming out of today.
Well, there we go.
It's lovely to have that sort of a lead, and this lead that Sven will be wanting, but I'm thinking he's just ramping it up a bit now, because we've seen him do a 19.4 in free practice, and so I'm sure we'll see him improve. Let's keep up with him now, actually. He's just into the final couple of corners as Philip Pushka goes into P1, a 19.4. And that is quicker by a couple of hundredths from what Sven de Vries did in free practice. Let's see what Sven does here. It's 19.7, it's better, but only good enough for P4. So Philip Pushka looking to take his 3rd pole position of the season here as the German, at his home track no less as well.
Yeah, of course, you know, when you're at your home track, you want to go a little bit faster. But, you know, we've got 5 minutes left of the session, actually over 5 minutes left for this qualifying session remaining. And that's always, you know, plenty of time for someone to knock in a few good laps. I think some people might be entering the pit lane as Maurice Bracan does. I think Rico Soppler also is as well. You know, a few people entering the pit lane, get some more fuel, get them fresh tyres on, and give it another bash as Tom Parker exits the pit lane. Emmanuel Gaxella. Whereabouts is Emmanuel Gaxella? He is...
Is he even in the room?
He's P28. He's
Oh,
not done
dear.
a good lap. Now, we'll just have to keep an eye on him and see if he actually gets a little bit faster. Now, I'm, you know, pretty sure that that is not his pace.
We've seen this a couple of times with Gaxella
back in Australia.
I'm sure there's a couple of times which you're forgetting, but he seems to leave it very late before putting in his fantastic lap. I remember he only popped up into 4th in Britain on the last lap after coming from outside the top 10, so the Romanian's got plenty of time. Well, you say plenty of time, he's got a few more laps in him, doesn't he? So we'll wait and see where that turns him out. Askari Kantonen, who is still P4 in the championship, despite his two round meetings not being here, and indeed the 2 rounds before that where he did not score at all, 3 retirements in a row, before eventually saying, look, I can't deal with the pain anymore, and pulling out of Canada race 2, P9. So,
yeah,
a decent return for Askari. And I think, especially considering how bad Adonis's qualifying was in Britain, to have both their cars up in the top 10 is actually quite a relief.
Yeah, absolutely. They did not have a good time in that qualifying session. So, yeah, we'll just have to keep an eye on Askari and see how well he does in the rest of this session. He's not too far behind his teammates. So both of those, you know, I reckon they should be able to improve. But we've seen this time and time again from the pair of them that they seem more racers as opposed to qualifiers. So, yeah, I'm sure they'll do fine once we hit race day, even though it's just later on this evening. But yeah, it's fine. But Menno Klont is in P10 now. I wonder if he'll actually qualify a little bit faster. He won that race, the last race we did back in Silverstone a couple of weeks ago. So I wonder if that will give him a little bit of a confidence boost, maybe give him a better qualifying position if he can get a lap together. He's currently 7/10 off the pole position, and a 10th behind the person in front, which is Askari Kantonen. So, you know, I wonder if he'll be able to pull out anything special towards the end of the session. Askari Kantonen does. He moves up into P6 now with a 119.786, 6,000ths to the car in front. That is close to Kevin Siggy, who hasn't been able to pull out that lap time that he did in practice. So I'm not really sure what's happening to Siggy.
The top 17 currently covered by a second. It is close as ever. And let's just go through your top 10 with the best part of 3 minutes to go. There goes Emmanuel Gaxella into P9. Is Philip Pushka currently on provisional pole ahead of the 2 Simcrafts, Gaia and Parker with De Vries 4th. Then it's Siggy, Kantonen, Muscat, Lopez, Gaxella and Bracan still holding on in P10. Definitely the German doing well at his home circuit. The 2 Germans doing well at their home circuit at PB Racing. Considering how far they've fallen off the pace of the top 4 ahead of them, they could be doing with a result like this. They need to get back on the pace.
Yeah, they absolutely do. But, you know, we say this a lot, that there is a long stint of this championship to go. As I believe someone improved, but I didn't see who. Was it Beresford? Oh, yes, up into P10. Did Scott Beresford go for TSA Racing, which is a great result. Askari Kantonen has an interesting entry into the pit lane, points the right way, and off he goes. But, you know, there's a long way to go in this championship. I'm not sure how many races it is, or how many rounds it is. I think it's 7 after this.
7.
So yeah,
well,
8 rounds to go now.
Yeah, we're on round 10 of 17.
Yeah.
And also,
so you have plenty of time to go.
I'd like you to tell me how many people there are on a 119.9.
On a 119.9, there is 5 people on a 119.9. That is a lot of people within a tenth of a second.
700ths between Muscat and Bracan.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Ahead of them, 3 people on a 119.7, and they're only covered by 200ths of a second.
Yeah, great close stuff. Once again, in this 2014 UltraNet Supercup season.
Doesn't disappoint. So let's see. Menno Klont now down to P14. He's going to have to step it up in order to get back into position.
Siggy's on a good lap, I believe.
Siggy's on a good lap. Let's go to him then, because he's just coming to the end of that lap. And His best time in free practice rivals that of Philip Puschke. Let's see whether the Austrian can push just a bit more to take that pole position away from Puschke. He goes P3 at 1:19.5.
Wow, 1,000th.
1,000th behind Gaia.
He's messed up this lap as well, so he won't get another one.
So that's Siggy done. P3 will be the best the Austrian gets. Who is coming to the end of their lap now? Interestingly, Puschke in the garage. He's not going any faster. I think Florian Gaia in P2 might just make the line to go on to another hot lap. Yep, he will. Right, let's see what Gaia can do then on this lap.
Wow, wow.
Gaia also at his home circuit, a 1:19.367, and he is slowed immediately. That is my qualifying done, he says, and currently at Hockenheim we have a German front row. Gaia looking for his second pole position of the year, his first in China, and I'm not sure anyone's going to be able to compete with that. Parker is in the garage in P4. Sven de Vries is on a lap. Askari Kantonen just ahead of him, interestingly, and providing de Vries with a slipstream. Muscat next across the line in P7. What can he do? No improvement. He stays P7. I think Gagzella in the garage. Beresford in the garage. Next up is Fran Lopez, but I think he is slowed. Yes, he has. So the positive Simracing driver goes no further. He is P8. So really it's up to Sven de Vries and Askari Kantonen, the two people who led this championship at the beginning of the year, to take pole position away from Gaia. But that is the fastest time we have seen at this circuit this year in the Super Cup, and I am highly doubting whether it will be beaten at this stage.
Yeah, that was one stellar lap from Florian Gaia. Absolutely fantastic to move himself up to provisional pole position. We'll see if Askari Kantonen and Sven de Vries can beat it. I'm not too sure, but we'll have to keep an eye on them as they come around to finish the lap. Askari Kantonen technically leaves the circuit. Exit stage left as they cross the line. Any improvement? Oh! Wow, Sven de Vries, what a lap.
Well, well, well. Askari Kantonen did improve to P6, but Sven de Vries, a 1:19.423. It is not a German front row. Sven de Vries decides to go ooh-ah for the Americans, and, well, that's a farmer, isn't it? It's ooh-rah, that's what I'm looking for. Into P2 he goes, the championship leader, but hey, GG, Florian Gaia, 1:19.367, a well-deserved second pole position of the year.
Absolutely, what that, you know, let's say that was a fantastic lap, a great laps from Sven de Vries. But you know, you say that Sven de Vries was behind Askari Kantonen around a lot of that lap. I know that, you know, you might get a bit of aero push from that, but down, you know, the straight where, you say straight, turn 5, the Parabolica, around there, you know, you're behind someone, you're closing up to them going a little bit faster. So to say that he still didn't go fast, that was one awesome lap from Florian Gaia.
I am just having a little look here at the sectors. In Sector 1, Gaia and de Vries equally matched. In Sector 2, de Vries marginally faster because of Kantonen ahead of him, we presume. In Sector 3, Gaia has obliterated the rest of the field. A full 10th clear of the next man, which was Philip Puschke in that sector.
Yeah.
So that actually leads me to think, is Gaia running a higher downforce setup?
He must be, absolutely.
Because we saw this with, and I know this because I was running it with my own team and Bastvik. We decided to run higher downforce setups, and in the last sector particularly, we were much faster than a lot of the people ahead of us. But we saw it actually in the race between Burlak and Strana in race 1 of the Formula Challenge. That can really, really hurt you. Because even if you head up into the slipstream, if the guy ahead of you has got enough of less wing off of his car, then he's going to have no trouble staying ahead.
Yeah, I reckon we could see Florian then lose the lead at the before, you know, the first lap's even done, before even halfway through the first lap, unless something happens behind him, as we actually saw in Monte Carlo when he took that race win. Which was also, was that where he had? No, that wasn't where he had pole position. That was China where he had pole. Never mind. But yeah, no, I'm curious to see what Florian's going to do, because you say about this wing, and the wings, we've seen wings play a great effect in this series. I know the wing splitter this track is absolutely gigantic. I've heard people running about, you know, anywhere between 15 and 20. Some people, and everyone else, you know, some other people are running 1. just to get that straight line speed. So it's crazy wing splits
at
this track.
Let's do a Formula Challenge thing. What wings were you running yesterday?
8, no 3.
And on the front?
8.
8.3.
Something like that.
I was running 13.3.
Wow, there you go.
Front end.
Yeah, I know. My friend drove the car and said that it was just understeering like a pig. But that's fine. That's fine by me. Right.
Well, let's see what is happening in the Drivers and Teams Championship. So we post penalty. So Sven de Vries, a 56-point lead ahead of Jason Muscat. He is safe for this round, even if he does terribly. Let's face it, though, he's probably not going to do terribly. Commentator's curse right there. Jason Muscat is on 269. He is 40 points ahead of Philip Pushka, who's had a bit of a resurgence recently, and certainly putting himself in P3 would do him no harm. Ascari Canton returning is then a further 40 or so points back on 181. 11 ahead of Tom Parker, who inherited the podium in Race 2 of Britain. Gaia is a further 8 points behind him with Menno Clont after his race win in Britain. 6 points behind Gaia. Siggy losing a bunch of points is a fair way back now on 124. And in the battle for the best of the Formula Challenge drivers, because of that penalty from Siggy, Tapper gained the necessary points to actually overtake Gaxella, who once again had a mixed round. So much potential, so little return. Tapper on 90 points, Gaxella on 89. In the teams, Adonis still way out in the lead on 474. The battle for second between Simcraft and Satellite is only separated by 12 points, 336 to 324. PB, as I say, they've been a bit off the boil overall in the team game. That's why Brackhan's recent surge in form could prove to be very good for them. They sit on 267. Behind them, the battle for 5th position is really heating up. Positive on 198, Multiforce on 198. And then behind the battle for the midfield, Street Fighter, Storm, FA, all separated by 21 points. TSA on their own, about 71 points back from FA Racing. But then again, about, how much was it? 15 points ahead of Mazurek. But Mazurek are really in a battle for the bottom, we think, with Fox, Basilia, Waters and Centurion. Centurion rounding out the field on 12 points. 11 points away from the safety of Waters. And it's not looking good for them. But the likes of Mazurek, Fox, Basilia, they've had points boosts recently, and they should be looking okay. But Waters in a bit of trouble along with Centurion, I think.
Yeah, but don't forget Waters also have Jesper Telborg for this round. JT hopefully going to throw together a decent race. He won in Formula Challenge just yesterday.
But you could say that was only due to the incident ahead of him.
Well, you could say, but I think everyone would say that was merely because of the incident that happened in front of them. That was just like when we did our first commentary together with Thomas Jacobs. And the incident between Darry Tapper and Emmanuel Gaxella, who they had an incident together. Yeah. And that meant Tom Jacobs won the race. Very similar to that.
But still thoroughly deserved, to be honest. You've got to be in the right place at the right time to win the race. And
yeah, it's both of them, yeah.
I think it's been a real trait of Jesper this year. We've seen it in ITC, we've seen it in Formula Challenge, and we've seen it in WSS as well. WSS, too many S's. WSS, the most prevalent case, I think.
Yeah.
Championship leader with no wins. His consistency has been absolutely phenomenal, and perhaps that consistency can see him through into the points in Super Cup.
Yeah, I mean, over in some other leagues, which shan't be named, he's won championships and was leading a championship a few weeks ago, which did come to a good end for Jesper. He finished third in that, but he was leading that championship without a win. He just has this consistency and this ability to put the car in the right place, and keep that car safe. That's why he doesn't DNF a lot, unless it's connection based. You don't see him make that many mistakes on track that lead to a DNF. But it could be an interesting one to watch from Jesper.
Right, Lewis.
Yes, Sven.
Sven, you're saying Sven?
I'm going to say Sven, yes, because I think he'll take the lead on the first lap. But do you know, I actually really wouldn't put it past Oscari. I've got a good feeling about Oscari this round, even though it's his return. I've got a good feeling.
I'm going to say Pushka.
Okay.
Because we've seen Pushka pushing for a win recently, and perhaps at this home circuit it is his time, or perhaps indeed it is the time for our pole sitter Florian Gaia taking pole position also at his home circuit. Can he take his second win of the year to complement his second pole position in the year? We shall find out in due time. He drives for Simcraft. Behind him on the front row, Sven de Vries for Satellite Racing, our championship leader, by a margin of 56 points. He'll just be looking to score some consistent results now to stay in that championship lead. He will be there at the end of this round regardless of what happens. Philipp Puschke then is P3 for PB Racing at his home circuit, with Kevin Sigge P4, the Austrian. Another good qualifying for him. Tom Parker then sits P5 for Simcraft, with a returning Askari Kantonen, the Finn lying in P6 for Adonis Engineering, ahead of his teammate Jason Muscat P7, who is second in the championship as it so happens. And Lopez, who won the first race of WSS this year at Hockenheim, lies P8, with Emmanuel Gaxella P9 for Storm. And Scott Beresford rounds out the top 10, now a permanent driver for TSA Racing. Maurice Brackham, an increase in form, lies P11 for PB Racing, with Patrick Gaywood for the first time this year, I think, out-qualifying his teammate in P12. Santiago Niza, another good qualifying for the Street Fighter driver in P13, with Menno Klomp, race winner from Britain in race 2, low down the order in P14, but he's been known to have good starts and he stays out of trouble pretty well as well. Timu Toika lies 15th for FA Racing, with Dowie Taffer P60 for Street Fighter. Then come the two Waters of Bart de Vos and Jesper Torborg P17 and 18, with Mikko Jakinen P19 for Scuderia Basilia, and Adrian McNaughton rounding out the top 20 for Storm. Olli Pelkonen starts P21 for FA Racing, filling in for Pavel Loknoski, with Dan Rusu starting P22 for Centurion. Mike Bell starts P23 for Missouri, with Bruno Sousa Ferreira starting P24 for the TSA. Riku Sarpia starts P25 for Missouri, with Daryl Nell starting P26 on his debut in the Super Cup. Nico Draconic starts P27 for Satellite, and the field is rounded out by Christoph Lichtenstein for Fox Racing.
Yeah, also Olli Pelkonen did a bit of chat on that lap, so he'll be getting an interesting penalty after the race. But I'm just going to say, keep an eye on Florian on this first lap. See if he drops back any positions. I reckon he will, unless anything happens behind him. But how many that will be is entirely dependent on where that wing split actually is.
One might say, watch out for the Adonai, as you say, usually wants to run with low downforce setups. Let's see if it helps them. Let's see what Florian Gaia can do with 2, 3, 4, and 5 lights here at Hockenheim. We're racing. And, Gaia bogs down a bit, but no more less than De Vries. The Sky Cats on the inside, they're heading into turn 1. Gaia just about holding around the outside. Tom Parker goes out wide, and look at Philipp Puschke there on the inside. I think they're going to go 3 wide. Oh, no, they're not. Gaia just ahead of De Vries and Puschke into turn 2. Kevin Sigge down to P5. And Dan Rusu's been off the track somewhere. He's not in the lead, is he? So the front 4, it seems, definitely pulling away here, with Tom Parker and Kantonen going side by side. Bracken's had a stormer of a start. He's up into P6, I think, as Sven de Vries goes for the lead into the hairpin. Gaia tries to hold on around the outside, but no. As you rightly said, de Vries instantly takes the lead. But let's see what Gaia can do now. We've seen plenty of moves into this tricky left-hand corner now. Can Gaia do him around the outside? Oh my word, it's Siggy there, flying through on Philipp Puschke. But he can't do anything. Puschke takes back the position, so is De Vries from Gaia now. Puschke and Siggy in their own battle. Kantonen and Parker. Gagzella up to 8th, with Brackham in 9th, and Scott Beresford holding on to 10th. So Jason Muscat's had an awful side. He's down to 11th, with Menno Klomp 12th. Jesper Torborg into P13. It's crazy stuff, and now Sven de Vries starting to stream away from Florian, cracking under the pressure once again. Surely soon to fall under pressure from Puschke now, but onto lap 2 we go. And it's De Vries from Gaia, Puschke, Siggy, Kantonen, Parker, Gagzella, Brackham and Beresford rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, for everyone who's looking at that board on the left-hand side of the screen, ignore Dan Rusu at the top. He is not leading the race. That lead is Sven de Vries. As I said, Sven de Vries taking that lead into the hairpin. Florian Gaia gave it a good stab to take it back, but he's now under attack from Philipp Puschke, who's going to go for P2. Is he going to be able to do it, though? One would assume as much down into the hairpin as Sven de Vries did on the previous lap.
Here he goes. He's going to try and break late, is the German. And
yeah.
he takes it once again. Gaia does not like that hairpin, very much like me. And let's see whether he can do on Philipp Puschke what he couldn't do. Oh no, and here comes Siggy down the inside. Oh, he's having a look at the Austrian, wasn't he? But Philipp Puschke safely past Gaia. And his initial race pace not looking like he's going to hold up well, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, Rusu drops back behind the pack to drop himself out of the lead. And Sven de Vries has got a good lead at this present moment in time. But I saw back in the pack that Jason Muscat and Scott Beresford were going a little bit wheel-to-wheel around the hairpin, but now Scott Beresford falling into the clutches of Menno Klont, as we said, race winner last time out at Silverstone. Wonder if he'll have a repeat of fortune in the second race later on this evening.
Perhaps.
Have to work his way up the field a bit more.
Interestingly, Pushka's gap to De Vries has actually decreased to 9/10 of a second as Kevin Siggy and Askari Kantonen going side by side. This is going to be a move to watch, isn't it? Askari Kantonen, great start so far. He's gained a position up to P5, and we think he's running those low wings. And look at the way he's just caught up to Siggy, cruising past almost. Siggy's going to go to the inside. Askari Kantonen to the outside. The Austrian breaks very late and locks up. Oh my word, a bit of bunching up there. And amazingly, Kevin Siggy managed to stay in P4 after all of that. Fran Lopez in P6, Tom Parker P7. That was the switch of positions. But yeah, Kantonen can do
Parker
that.
Straight back through.
Yeah, Parker straight back through. And Jason Muscat there as well. Looking to take advantage. He's going to try around the outside of Lopez. He gets it a little bit wrong. And here comes Gaxella now. Up the inside of Muscat. Is he going to stick it up there? No, he's not.
6/10 of a second between the lead.
Discretion the better part of Bala for Gaxella, but Pushka is on the move. And I did say watch out for him. And he's a-coming.
Yeah, this was the guy that before this championship started, everyone was thinking that Philip Pushka was definitely going to be in the running to become the 2014 Series champion. And he's proving why he should have been on that list. But he's had a few runs this season that show that he really shouldn't be.
And of course he missed a round.
And he did, of course, miss a round, but he absolutely dominated Bahrain all that time ago. So we'll just have to see if he can fight for the win. He was fighting for the win back in Montreal.
Here he goes. Down the inside of the turn 5 hairpin, and he's got it. Nice and cleanly, and Sven de Vries has no answer as behind. There's been a huge bit of a gaggle there. Askari Kantonen up into 4th, Siggy 5th, Tom Parker 6th, and Jason Muscat now past Fran Lopez. So Fran Lopez isn't going to let that one sit easily at all. Bashes Muscat out the way, and Muscat loses, gosh, how many positions? That was 5 positions. That is going to be naughty boy.
Yeah,
Fran
he's
Lopez
dropping back. He's dropping back, I think.
Gaxella goes through. I wonder whether he was just out. He's going for Gaxella, isn't he? I don't think he cares much. Oh dear. Oh, this isn't pretty. This is not pretty to watch. And Jason Muscat felt hard done by, really. He's had a great start, only to be undone by the Spaniard.
Yeah, the Spaniard who took that win in WSS and also the win in the Master Series in Le Mans a few weeks ago. He's got a bit of confidence behind to try and push for a different, for a decent position. But when he's doing it too aggressively like that, he's definitely going to be handled with a penalty with that Muscat thing. Maurice Bracan, very close, but no cigar quite there. Maurice Bracan, you said earlier that he had a fantastic start up until about P6. That he did, but he's going to come under attack from Jason Muscat. He's going to get straight past Oscar Kantonen, Florian Gaia, yes.
Man on the move. Let's see firstly what happens with Muscat and Bracken. I think that is deal done. Indeed it is, and Jason Muscat safely back up into P9, but Askari Kantonen and Florian Gaia going right at it. Kantonen is on the move and using his low wing setup with a great effect, having a great run out of turn 7 there as Fran Lopez gets back past Emmanuel Gaxella. Those two are going to be at it for a while. Oh,
what a surprise.
What was Fran Lopez thinking? Poor old Gaxella has no luck and pulls over immediately out of the race. And I tell you what, race winner he may be, but Lopez cannot go about doing that. He is going to be right at the bottom at the end of this race when it comes to penalties.
Yeah, I'm not really 100% sure about that incident. I need to have a look on the server replays to have a judgment on that, but that's not for me. That's for the disciplinary committee to have a look at, which I'm sure they will in due course. But Maurice Bracan gets past Jason Muscat again, or was that them two? Yeah, them two fighting about for position. So
yeah,
Maurice Bracan back past Jason Muscat.
Here comes Kantonen though, once again. Round the long turn 4 we go, down to the turn 5 hairpin. Ascari Kantonen escorted out to the outside. Guy will have the inside. Ascari will be hoping to get the cut back.
Oh,
no,
beautiful.
Go clean around the outside. Oh, they're looking wheels. And this might allow Kevin Siggy here to have a little looking. He's up on the inside of Ascari Kantonen. He needs to regulate. Oh my word, he's going to try and thread the needle. He doesn't quite thread the needle through on Gaia, but it's a lovely opportunistic move from the Austrian. He's up into P4 now.
Yeah, this lot all dropping off the back of the fight for the lead, which is Philip Pushker and Sven de Vries, currently half a second apart, as Kevin Siggy runs a little bit too wide as they head into the arena section. Someone moving down further back. Fran Lopez. Yes.
Timing.
Okay,
timing.
that's fine. I did see he was a little bit laggy.
Yes, he was laggy in the recess as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a fair move from Siggy, and well done as well. The gap at the front is 0.6 of a second, so Philip Pushka not exactly pulling away from Sven de Vries.
Oh, Ascari Kantonen! Oh.
How did he keep that out of the wall? Is beggars belief. That is insane how he was able to do that, and that is where the understeer can really catch you out if you're not careful. I think he did actually clash the wall, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he might have hit it a little bit. Go have a look.
Would have been left side pod damage more than anything. But yeah, lucky to keep it in P6.
Yeah, did hit it.
Sorry, P7 now. And looking to take Fran Lopez now. Fran Lopez on the inside. Canton tries around the outside. Can't get anything done though. And for sure that side pod damage is going to cause him some grief.
Yeah, it's probably side pod damage with a bit of suspension. So it's going to cost him a lot, especially through turn 1. Now turn 1's going to be even harder.
Oh, Beresford.
Beresford
went off track and he's fallen from about P7 down to P12 again. That left-hander's really catching some people out, and Scott Beresford now down to P12. That revised order then, so it's Muscat 8th, Bracken 9th, Klont in 10th, and Tallborg now into 11th. So this midfield is pretty scrappy, it must be said, but great to watch. Yeah,
it's I think we saw this in Spain where they were a little bit scrappy and bashing each other out of the way, but it was a fantastic thing to watch. A bit funny, but not kind of what we would see. I'd rather see a bit of clean driving, but they all like to get their handbags out at times and whack each other off the road, I suppose.
Oh dear, it's all Kantonen almost through on Lopez there into the back. Let's actually look at the losers out of these first 8 laps. It's our retirement so far are Derald Nell, Dan Rusu, Christoph Lichtenstein, Riku Sarpia, and of course Emmanuel Ngakzela. So 5 out already of this 28 strong field. Philip Pushka still keeping that 0.6 of a lead gap to Sven de Vries, with Guy and Siggy and Park behind in their own little gaps. It's Lopez then ahead of Canton. He's stretched out that gap a bit now, and Jason Muscat trying to hold off Bracken and Klomp for all he's worth. But he is going to have to get his defensive gloves out because he's in a bit of trouble, methinks.
Yes, he doesn't look too comfortable in that position. Bracken, we've said this before, that behind Bracken looks very, very quick. And, what's Jason Muscat going to do? He really needs to pull out the gap. Next car in front is his teammate Ascari Kantonen, who has obviously dropped back from P4 that he was in earlier on in the race, as Fran Lopez enters pits. I will keep an eye on that.
That is an early stop.
Very
early stop. We were expecting him to get to about lap 17 or so before we were expecting stops.
It's not a drive-through. Although
is it a stop-go penalty?
Yeah,
perhaps?
I think so. Yeah, it looks like it.
It must be. Because he's not changed his tyres and away he goes. Yep, a stop-go penalty then for Fran Lopez, presumably for either cutting or that contact with Gagzella. We will not know, but that drops him all the way down to P21. So Kantonen back up into 6th, and now he's under attack from his teammate Muscat. And then you have the gaggle of cars behind. Bracken, Klon, Torborg, De Vos, Beresford and Niza there as well. All covered by 4 seconds.
Yeah. That's a good shout. We've said that Dave has told us that the penalty might have been from when he lagged out. So he could have got, as Dave said, blue flags. Could have been really anything as to what happened when you lag out. The game might have just gone a little bit mad. But either way, that's what he's got to deal with at this present moment in time. That stop-go penalty. which he has served. So Fran Lopez down in P19, Jason Muscat right on the back of Oskari Kantonen.
Yeah, I'll tell you who was dealing with it as well, with Jesper Torborg, who's into P9, but I reckon that Kantonen lets Muscat through almost definitely. Kantonen's got a damaged car, that is for sure. Although he's got a fantastic drive out of turn 2 and 3 there, and the two Adonai 6 and 7 go side by side down into the turn 5 hairpin. I'd imagine Kantonen will let Muscat get away with this one, surely. Brakes much earlier and prepares to now defend off Menoclon and Jesper Torborg. Maurice Bracan, he's fallen off a bit the pace here, but maybe he's just conserving his tyres, maybe thinking, I don't want to get too involved with these battles just yet. There are still a good 30 laps to go. Oh,
I see the leaders are coming up to Bruno Sousa Ferreira, who is currently off the track at the second hairpin with a very damaged car. Bracan!
Oh, he spun it out to the left-hander. And that's where he lost the position to Jesper Torborg as well. He just went too deep and spun it round on the curb. And that's exactly what I did yesterday. It's very easy to do that. Yeah. And unfortunately, Bracan falls all the way down to P16. So still a chance of points, but reverse grid pole position is looking a bit peachy now.
Yeah, you know, there are cars that run this low to...
oh, is that Beresford? Sorry. Oh, no, it's not. Sorry, it's Bruno Sousa.
Okay. But I saw Siggy went too far over the curb at turn 1, and this is what we saw, not really with Kantonen too much, but what happened to me in qualifying in Formula Challenge, where these curbs, when you're running cars that are this low to the ground, when you get over them, the car just bottoms out very, very quickly, and you get spun off into a wall. And the tyre barriers at this circuit are not forgiving, even remotely. They will remove wheels very nicely.
Yeah, talking about removing opponents out of the way, though, Menoclon eases past Oskari Kantonen into the hairpin. That car looks like it is hurting now. Hurting a lot, and I think Kantonen will just be hoping for a good reverse grid pole position here, because he is dropping back. And I tell you what, Mr. Andreas Waters, kudos to you. Jesper Torborg P9, Bart de Vos P10. I said they're in a bit of trouble. Currently, second from bottom in the team's championship. Although I think Scott Beresford is going to get P10 now away from 2011 champion of Super Cup Bart de Vos. They are not doing too badly, are they?
No, it's a good run from them so far. I'm interested with Kantonen. You say it's a damaged car. Could it be him? Could his knee be? Wondering. I hope not, but you know, he's not driving too great at the moment. I hope it is just a damaged car and he'll come back in the second race fine. But you say that about Waters with them running P9 and P11 at the moment. It's a fantastic run from them at the moment, and yeah, they are forever climbing in this race, so we'll just have to see how long they will. Yes, Kevin Siggy, Florent Gaia.
Straight through once again.
Oh,
Kevin Siggy locks up though, but I tell you what, Gaia made a meal of that as well, and so Kevin Siggy up onto the podium now is the Austrian. And I'll tell you what, he was very unlucky not to be on the podium in WSS. He had his race ruined by the colliding Sven de Vries and Augustin Canapino, but the positive sim racing driver looking good now. And well, yeah, Gaia I think has been a bit lucky with incidents this race. His race pace has been really lacking, hasn't he, and missing all of the apex there on the right-hander.
Well, that great lap in qualifying, you know, shows that car is definitely more of a qualifying car, and as we all know, in this, you know, this sim racing world, it's there's two very different types of car. You've got a qualifying car and a racing car, and clearly that is not for racing, is Florian Gaia's car. It's just the downforce levels are not right for going wheel to wheel, especially not at this track. Maybe the next one that we go to, which is Hungaroring, he'll be running that setup and doing very nicely, but for here, not too good. However, still running P4, which is still a good result, just in front of his teammate Tom Parker. I'm not sure what kind of setup Tom's going to be running, but there's about 4 seconds between the two of them, so Florian looks fairly secure in that position at this present moment.
It'll be a Parker setup, won't it?
Yeah, it'll just be whatever.
A proper Parker setup. Yeah. Anyway, running a good setup, it seems, is Philip Pushka, who over the last couple of laps has actually pulled out his lead to 1.3 seconds, and take it from a guy who has seen plenty of close battles around the Hockenheim ring, a guy who has seen a Super Cup season where the margins have been fine. That is a good lead to have. And these two are now about 4.4 seconds clear of Kevin Siggy in P3, so it seems very much to be going down to a 2-horse race, if even that, for this race win.
Yeah, I mean, it's Philip Pushka's putting on some good dominance at the moment at his home round, but you can't rule anything out in this season. We did this back in Australia. We were like, it's fine. This is Oskari Kantonen's win, definitely. And then bam, Sven de Vries right on the back of him. The tyre wear, it just sort of all dropped off and all evened out at the right time. And we know Philip Pushka earlier on in the season certainly was destroying his tyres. He sorted that out in Bahrain and won both races, but we'll just have to keep an eye on Oskari Kantonen. Has spun off the track.
Yes, he has,
Daryl Tapper is also Scott Beresford goes around the outside, but Daryl Tapper has also retired from the race. But a shame for Oskari, who's dropped back, giving P8 and P9 to Jesper Tolborg and Scott Beresford.
Still in the top 10.
Indeed, still for that reverse grid position.
Going to be battling with 2011 champion Bart de Vos, though, and another retirement is Nico de Koning. They are dropping like flies now. We're up to 7 already, and we're not even halfway through this race. So, perhaps on lap 14 of 39, almost to be going on to lap 15 of 39 as Philip Pushka rounds the last 2 corners. Let's go through your point scorers. It's Pushka from de Vries, Siggy, Geyer, Parker, Muscat, Klont, Tolborg, Beresford, Kantonen, de Vos, Niza, McNaughton, Toyka, and Maurice Bracan down in P15. He is the last point scorer and able to hold off the advances of Patrick Gatewood for now.
Yes, Patrick Gatewood's actually had a pretty good run as Bart de Vos has gotten past. No, that's why Oskari Kantonen into the pit lane. Maybe get some damage repaired and some tyres changed. We'll keep an eye on him as he heads into his stop. But
still an early stop for me, actually, that Kantonen.
I still feel exactly the same. He's onto the prime compound tyre. But yeah, feels like a bit of an early stop. We're not really sure what's going to be happening in the second race evening, which is 22 laps. What kind of strategies everyone's going to be running. I think a lot of people will be doing it on the prime compound tyre.
Yeah.
With a couple experimenting maybe on the options to extend it out for a full run. I don't think we're going to have pit stops in that race. Oskari Kantonen exits the pit lane in P19, which shows how close the field is, because that doesn't usually happen. They usually exit the pit lane inside the point scoring positions, but we have a close run at the moment as Fran Lopez is timed out again. As in, yeah, they hit timing glitch, so he's dropping down the order. It's fine. He'll be back in his position shortly. But I was saying Patrick Gatewood, he's actually been showing some really good pace. I'm not sure what happened to him in the start of the race, but he qualified 12th. He's dropped back into 16th position, but he does have good pace at this track, it appears. So maybe keeping an eye on him for some more point scoring later on this evening. There's a possibility. We've got a long time to go in this race, so he might score some points, which would be very good for him.
Yeah, or Gatewood. We talk about people who've been a bit caught out by this season. Him most certainly.
Absolutely
consistent top 10 runner last year, and the strength of the field is just.
Oh, Oskari Kantonen straight off. Oh wow.
Oh dear. Wow, and that was. Yeah, he just locked up completely, didn't he? Straight into the wall, and well, not the happy return he was hoping for. Oskari Kantonen into the pit lane. He comes to get another front wing, as we have Teemu Toyka actually crashing out the points. They are dropping like flies, and I thought this might be a race of attrition. And Kantonen, of all people, proving that his non-score streak looks set to continue for quite a while yet, unfortunately. So Toyka ran wide of turn 1, hit the wall, similar to what Kantonen did, but with much more deadly effect. And so what that does is mean Bracan up into P13, Gatewood 40, then Mike Bell up into the points. That is not a sight you see often, and actually going off the track now is Bell deciding to cut all of the corners, letting Fran Lopez of all people back into the points. So just goes to show you what a what a change of fortune.
Parker
can do.
in,
yeah.
Muscat in as well.
Oh yep.
But yeah, Oskari Kantonen has also gone a lap down after those incidents, which is a shame. I'm sure that's not really too good for him, but we'll see where Parker comes out. Parker is on to the prime compound tyre, same as Jason Muscat. And apparently Muscat and de Vos had a close call in the pits, so that'd be interesting. But Yeah, so Tom Parker leads Muscat out of the pit lane, same as they entered and onto the prime car tire. I wonder if that front locking issue might be affecting other cars as well.
There's potential for it, isn't it? As something happened there. Oh, there we go. Scott Beresford getting past Jesper Torborg. The two Formula Challenge. Well, I say two Formula Challenge. We've got a proper Super Cup runner now in Scott Beresford, but the two Formula Challenge stars of this year battling out on track. We were kind of expecting to see this, and Scott Beresford coming again the better of the Smile Power driver. As Siggy and De Vries pit now. Pushka goes round again, interestingly, which is really weird. We were talking about him having that high tyre wear early in the year, going around once again, as is Gaia, but we've seen this strategy from Gaia multiple times already, looking to stretch his options as long as it can. Clonk goes round again, Beresford goes round again, Torborg in, and let's see where De Vries comes out into P5. Oh, he's going to be battling with Nisa though, isn't he?
Absolutely.
He's coming around at a rate. Not actually. Actually, Nisa is ahead. No, he's not. Nisa is not ahead. So there we go. De Vries out into 5th position, and we'll see now whether this longer stint from Pushka can prove good or bad for him.
Yeah, Siggy's come out just behind McNaughton. But we've seen this quite a few times from Gaia mainly, where he will just push these option tyres as far as he can go. And I've said this so many times this season that these tyres don't drop off from wear. They drop off from thermal degradation, which is actually quite a bit on this track. But if you can keep your tyres together, then until you hit about 20% left on the tyre, the option tyre will be faster. It just will. So the longer you can push, the better. So as you say, Pushka enters the pit lane. Florian Guy does not. That's
kind of expected.
Yes. So he will keep pushing round and round. Menoclon also goes round. We'll see about Scott Beresford. I think he might try and push for one more lap because that is the sprint race distance. That's what he was talking to me about pre-event.
It's going to be close between Pushka and De Vries though. Absolutely. I think Pushka is going to get out ahead. Oh, it's going to be close, isn't it? And De Vries is going to have the momentum. Let us have a look here.
It's closed up.
It's close, but not close enough.
But De Vries' tyres are up to temperature.
Very true. We'll see at the next time split what the official gap is. I think it's about 6/10 or something.
So yeah, it's really quite close as De Vries is closing up quite a lot now down this back straight as well. So yeah, De Vries has actually closed up an awful lot on that stint. Was a very good outlap then from Sven De Vries.
But remember, Pushka, in contrast, will now have the better tyre wear into the end, so arguably he could push further.
So, wow, yes.
Under braking, De Vries is not afraid to get his nose where it shouldn't be, but let's look now to Gaia, see whether he pits.
Yep.
It was a late call, wasn't it?
It was a very late call.
Choosing to pit now. Let's see, surely Clonk will come in as well. Yep. Remember though, this is lap 19 of 39. Our sprint race is 22 laps in there. Scott Beresford goes round again to lead a race for CSA Racing. Interesting stuff here. But yeah, it looks like prime tyres are the way to go, or perhaps Scott Beresford can prove everyone wrong and do a 22-lap stint. We shall wait and see.
Yeah,
as Florian Gaia comes out he comes out ahead of Siggy, sorry.
Yeah,
so
ahead of Siggy. But
him.
Yeah, but not by much, that gap. Won't be too big, and we'll just have to see if Siggy can close that one down. Menno Klontz exited the pit lane in 7th, which is, which could be 6th, depending on when Beresford comes in. But yeah, so great result so far. Oh, it's just looking at my timing going, oh, what's going on here? It's Mike Bell is in P9, Pushka and De Vries getting very close together.
Yeah. Ever so close, aren't they? I think De Vries is going to try and do what he did in the opening stint, isn't he? Try and pressure Pushka and take the lead while he still can. And to be fair, this has been a bit of a trait that we've seen. Pushka's been awesome on the option tyre usually, but when it comes to the prime, he loses something. He loses his edge. And this could yet still prove pivotal. Sven De Vries could definitely still take this.
Indeed, it's we're only now past the halfway point, so a long way to go still in this race as Scott Beresford is coming into the pit lane this time as Philip Pushka will regain the lead rather. of this feature race. As I wonder where Beresford will actually come out. I'm going to assume Mike Bell in P9, who would be the last running option runner. I reckon he'll continue round again, as he does. So,
of course,
very unsurprising.
Yeah, I fear that Mike Bell's abilities have been a bit overshadowed in this season with the change of format. Usually known for his great tyre wear, he suffered a bit this year, unfortunately. But perhaps he can make those options work in the reverse grid race. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But looking at Beresford, he has benefited massively into P8 and well ahead of Torborg now.
Yeah, a long way ahead of Jesper Torborg, who's currently running in P10. That is a great distance he's pulled out at the moment. So great stuff from Scott Beresford. Great laps on those option tyres and making them last that long. Sven de Vries, I see, is within half a second, 4/10 it is. Will this lead change before the end of the race? We've seen these two run so close on quite a lot of occasions, much as we saw in the earlier part of the season with Sven de Vries and either Oskari Kantanen and Jason Muscat, dependent on the day, really. But these two have run close together on a number of occasions. We saw it in Silverstone, we saw it in Montreal, and we're seeing it here once again in this season. So, these two running very close. Would have been close championship rivals, one would have thought, as quite a possibility.
Still time for that to change.
Still time for that to change, absolutely, but one would find it unlikely.
One would find it unlikely. Wonderful use of one there. Mike Bell goes round again to go on to lap 22, therefore confirming quite nicely that he can indeed do 22 laps on the option tyres.
Unless he crashes on this lap.
Unless he crashes on this lap. One to look out for in the sprint race, perhaps. I'd also like to give a little shout out to Santiago Niza. Now, Niza's had a bit of a patchy year so far. Patchy in Formula Challenge, patchy in Supercup, but once Mike Bell pits, he will be into the top 10. And I believe that might very well be his first top 10 result of the year.
Yeah,
in Supercup anyway.
Not only that, that's a great result in this feature race as well. That's the thing, is that we are in the feature race. Sometimes you get a sprint race and some crashes happen and you get moved up into that top 10. But he's done this very nicely at the moment. He's done his pit stop and everything like that, and he will be running in that 10th position. So it has been actually a really solid drive from Santiago Niza so far. Obviously a long way to go in this race, so it's not over yet as Philip Puška comes around to complete lap 22. And so I assume Bell will be into the pit lane and will give that top 10 to Santiago Niza.
And also remember, crucially, that top 10 could very well provide Niza with the reverse grid pole, as Bell does indeed come into the pits, almost crashing into the wall as well. But yeah, Niza comes round to inherit P10. He has got, 17 laps to go, and he's got to fend off Bart de Vos and Maurice Bracan before he can say, I am in with a chance of reverse grid pole position at the end of this race, though.
Santiago's highest finishing position of the 2014 season was 6th.
Was it really 6th?
It was at Austria in race 2.
Wow, there we go.
Yes, so a great result there.
Only a month ago as well.
Yes, but he had got a P11 in Monte Carlo before that and scored a point on one other occasion. Oh, two other occasions.
So clearly a top 10 is pretty rare.
Very good result for Santiago, so you have to hold it together.
Out of interest, was that 6th in a feature or sprint race?
That was a sprint race. It was the second race of the evening.
There we go. So would be at current position his best feature race finish then. But looks like Bart de Vos is closely stalking him ominously. Oh wow! And Bruno Sousa Ferreira has closed him right up. Actually, I would not be comfortable if I was Niza.
No, it's a second front wing loss of Sousa Ferreira that I've seen. He might have lost it a couple of other times, but the person that's won the most races in Open Series not doing too great for TSA this evening so far.
No. Well, let's look back up to the battle of the front, shall we? Keep an eye on this gap. 0.6 of a second, as it has been for pretty much the last 3 laps. And Puška just seems to be monitoring this gap really nicely and really effectively. And it looks to me as if he is running just marginally higher wings, and that is doing his race setup oodles of good things, because it means he's able to hit every apex lovely, thermal degradation isn't actually that bad, and of course he's got that one extra lap of prime tyre life on Sven de Vries. So, in my opinion, Pushka's race to lose here, as they're about to lap fellow championship contender, arguably, Askari Kantonen.
Yeah, Askari, who is going to the end of the race now, but obviously he dropped a lap earlier, but then everyone pitted, and now we'll drop that lap again. This isn't a second lap. But yeah, let's Pushka past or let De Vries past fairly quickly as well. What's getting close on track as well, Florian Geyer and Kevin Siggy. These two who switched positions earlier on in the race, then re-switched in the pit stops, and Kevin Siggy's pushing to get onto the podium again, losing that podium back in Silverstone, wanting to get another one. I don't think he's had a podium since that race win. In fact, back in the feature race of Austria a few rounds ago, so he's going to absolutely want to sit on the podium once again.
No, he did attain the podium in Britain, but he lost it, didn't he? So
yeah, absolutely.
Podiumless since Austria, very true. Then again, he doesn't want to be getting any more penalties, because he's been a bit prone to mistakes this season, Siggy.
Yeah, also that podium in Austria, the win, was the only time this season he's actually been on the podium, other than that Britain that he had removed. So
really? Wow.
Yes, the only time he's been on the podium. So definitely wants to go and sit on it once again. I think he's finished fourth a good number of times, so definitely doesn't want to finish there again.
No, absolutely not. I'm just thinking here, what would you be if you were in Siggy's mindset? Would you be thinking personal glory, I won that podium for myself, blah, 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 so on? Or would you be thinking Teams Championship? Their rivals are Multiforce, and they're on exactly the same number of points. The only reason why Positive is ahead is because they took their race win before Multiforce achieved theirs. Surely P4 and not risking it is the safer option for your team? Especially given that Menno's in P6 as well.
Yeah, you see, the thing is when I was thinking about this pre-season, I'm thinking Siggy is there, Kantonen gets out of the way of a couple of other drivers as well. Siggy is not someone that I'd be thinking should be battling with, and this is no disrespect to Menno Klon, he did a fantastic drive in Silverstone, but he's not really someone that I thought would be fighting with Menno Klon, Kevin Siggy. I thought he'd be a bit further up, so to say that that's who they're in the championship fight with is a little strange to me, but I'd say at this point he has to go teams wise. He can't lose this fourth position. I mean, albeit yes, if you close up to the back of Florian, maybe if the move opens up, go for it, but don't aggressively push for that move. Keep that fourth position. It's so important at the moment.
I mean, they're 69 points off of PB ahead of them, and 69 points if you're a front race winning team, it doesn't seem like a lot if the other team in question has a bad weekend. But we're talking, but we're talking midfield teams here. At current stretch, let's see, Positive at the moment is scoring 14 points, and Multiforce is scoring 12. So they're only pulling 4 points ahead of Multiforce, whereas PB, they're leading a race and they have Brakan still in 12th. So that's 29 points. They need to be doing much better, you would think.
Yeah, it's absolutely they have to be doing a little bit better, and it's it's just surprising the position that they're in at the moment. But Kevin Siggy, I think, as much as I say the logical thing would be to hold that fourth, I think he'll be absolutely pushing for the podium.
Make that 11 points for Multiforce, as Jason Muscat has just overtaken the Dutch driver. Into P6, Muscat goes, and that is, I would say P6 is probably the best place to be, because you are guaranteed a good reverse grid slot, pretty much.
Yeah, of course. You're guaranteed to be reversed. Whether that's to fifth or to first. It's a great place to be. Is sixth, same as in Formula Challenge, WSS and ITC. It's 15th is the spot you want to be. Sixth is here. So. A good drive from Jason Muscat as he's come up to lap his teammate. And that is going to be a bitter pill to swallow. Yeah, that is painful. Such a shame for Askari Kantonen, but he'll come back for the next race, one would hope. P19 he currently is. That should be his starting position unless he can close up to Pelkonen, which I don't think is going to happen before the end of the race.
That reminded me a lot of Button in Canada in 2012.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the championship hunt, in reality, getting overtaken by your teammate who is also in the championship hunt, it's bittersweet, unfortunately. But how bittersweet will it be for Sven de Vries here? Because that gap to Philip Pushka has increased once again up to 1.7 seconds. And yeah, it seems that de Vries just doesn't have the edge. It seems that Pushka's been able to get a bowl cap on it and is trying to rush off into the distance. So we're just going to head on to lap 29 of 39 here. And let's see, 2 seconds is the gap now. So, well, it seems that de Vries is either saving tyres or he's falling away a bit now.
Yeah, the problems that Pushka was struggling with back in Montreal when he was fighting with de Vries for the lead. But could never quite do it, could never quite make that move stick. He tried again and again and again, and only once did he get past, and that lasted for a corner, and then de Vries got past again. Whereas this time, you know, he's just got the move done early and stuck with it, run away with it, sorted it. It's been a great drive from Pushka so far, and to say that that's a lead of 2 seconds from Sven de Vries, current championship leader, is fantastic at the moment. Down in P6, Menno Klont and Jason Muscat are pushing each other, so I'm going to assume Klont is not going to go for the position on Muscat, obviously his own team and all that.
I'm looking at P3
yes. Now. Sorry, I've just seen Oskari Kantonen DNF from the race.
Oh, and yeah, in terms of not attending races and whatnot, that is his 4th retirement in a row now, Oskari Kantonen. He left race 2 in Canada, and of course he didn't take part in the last couple of rounds in Austria and Britain. And it's a bad day for the Finn. It's been a championship that has fallen apart at the seams. Not falling apart at the seams though is Kevin Siggy, who's right on the back of Florian Gaia now. Lap 30-39 and Florian's swung by. Let's see what Siggy can do into turn 2. Perhaps he might want to be a bit conservative, try and get in the slipstream of Gaia for this corner. He's going to try and get a better exit. I think he's done this perfectly. He's had a bit of a wiggle out of turn 2. Oh, this is perfectly done though. Straight into the slipstream, and we'll be expecting a move into the turn 5 hairpin for sure. Gaia goes defensive, very defensive, and Siggy's going to have to try, or he's going to try and get the cut back, is he?
Doesn't quite stick.
And he's done really nicely there. Really nice cut back. He's going to go to the outside of Gaia into what is essentially turn 7. Oh, but Gaia can't do it. And Kevin Siggy has to stay behind once again.
Yeah, Gaia did a great defensive drive there. But, yeah, Siggy, he seemed to hold back through before 2 and get the car positioned nicely down for the Parabolica, really. But it didn't quite stick, but he's got plenty of laps to try and make it, so he'll just have to wait for the next lap and give it another whirl.
Give it another whirl indeed. Muscat Klomp has opened up. The other battle that was raging on, which was Nisa DeVos, that has opened up a bit as well. McNaughton and Brackan's closed up to DeVos. That's something that could happen very recently. Oh gosh, look at Brackan really catching up here. Into the Mercedes section we go. DeVos under heavy threat from Maurice Brackan. He's only got 2 more places to go before he's back into the top 10 by... Given how equal the pace is over this midfield, I'm not sure whether the German's going to be able to do it, unfortunately.
No, it's... yeah, to show the earlier pace that he was showing when he did that starting up into 6th position. It's not been so good since then, down in 12th, but... You know, we'll just have to hold it together and see what he can do. Obviously, with that spin that we saw earlier on in the race, he is going to definitely try to get himself up towards the top 10. A long way to go to get to it, but I'm sure he's going to give it his best shot. I also saw that on the previous lap. Yep, Siggy and Gaia have really closed up again, so I think Siggy's going to give it another go very shortly.
Locking up heavily into the left-handed banker there, and you can see Siggy's pushing. Locking up is usually a sign of pushing, and the Austrian wants that podium for his team as we head on to lap 32 of 39 with these guys. I always get this mixed up. 7 laps to... No, 8 laps to go. I knew I was right on that one. There we go. Out of turn 2 and 3 we go. Kevin Siggy, much more stable. But Gaia has had an equally good exit, and I think this is going to be the thing which Siggy relies on. He needs Gaia to make a mistake somewhere. Otherwise, you know, like right throughout the field, they are just so equal on pace that, oh, he just can't do anything. And once again, he has to stare at that rear wing.
Well, he's got the move. He got the move done earlier on in the race. He just has to remember how to do it. And yeah, we say 8 laps to go. It'll be 7, obviously, at the end of this, and that means 7 times into that hairpin he can try if he's close enough. So that's plenty of times. As Pelkinen.
Oh my!
Wow! I think I need to go and change my underwear after that. That was very scary.
That was back marking. Life of a back marker.
I wonder if he was sitting there going, no, 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 as he was closing right up to the back of Siggy. That was very scary. Pelkinen, he's come into the pit lane. I think he had some damage on that car. I think it might have been a front wing loss. But yes, that's probably not affected Siggy too much. I don't think he even realised as Guy's really slowing the apex.
And that is the mistake I was talking about. And Siggy should be straight through. Look at that. Going to the inside now, to the outside of the hairpin. Guy is looking pretty good here. Last of the late breakers. Guy is going to have the inside. Siggy tries to get the undercut.
That is a
wonderfully
cutback.
done.
Wow. Textbook. Great stuff. Yeah, that was the move he needed to do.
Can Guy respond though? He goes to the outside. Oh, he had to. He pulled out of that one, definitely. But Siggy is up into the podium, and he's been looking like the faster driver for a good few laps now, and I think he should have that one in the bag.
Yeah, that was good stuff from Siggy as he really straddles the curb, entering the arena section. But yeah, great stuff from Siggy. Shame that the pole sitter now has to move off of the podium at his home track. But nevertheless, down into 4th position goes Florian Gaia. It seems like Tom Parker's had a bit of a lonely race, running in 5th.
Yeah, he's been a bit quiet. That is really weird for Parker as well, a quiet race.
Yeah. Well, he's not been near Gagzella, so it's okay.
No.
But if the reverse grid pole position is 6th, then he'll be on the front row for the next race, and we've seen what Parker's done from pole position or even from the higher positions. Who's dropping back? Yeah, Bracken and DeVos.
Look at 11th and 12th. They went side by side around the left-hand bank room. This move was coming really. Bracken's been looking like he wanted to get past DeVos for a long time, and well, it seems to me like Bracken will be oh so close yet so far. P11 for the German. But he's going to have to make up a good 2 seconds or so to be able to catch up to Santiago Niza ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if he's actually going to be able to catch up to Santiago, who has been doing a fantastic drive into the top 10 at the moment. Will DeVos have a go down into the hairpin? He's closing up fast enough.
Monster speed.
Straight past.
He is ahead, and yeah, he's a car's width ahead before they hit the braking zone. So Bracken has got all that to do again as he mounts the curb.
Tried to cut back, didn't work.
Yeah, he's got McNaughton to worry about as well there, so that battle is still to be raging on. Muscat and Clont have closed up a bit as well.
Yeah, as I say, I don't think that's going to be a position change because Menno's just not going for it. He wants Muscat in a good position for the next race.
They are catching Parker.
Yes, they are absolutely catching Parker. So, see if the fight for 5th happens later on in the race with 5 laps to go.
Oh, look at Bracken and DeVos. Let's go back to this fight. This is brilliant.
Absolutely. McNaughton is closed right up to the back of this fight. It
has become a 3-way battle for 11th, and all of this for 11th, eh? And looking behind, actually, points are points, and here goes Bracken into turn 1. Can't do anything. Got to brake a little bit earlier because of the understeer. Putting back at DeVos has mounted the curves, and surely that is position to Bracken. Here comes McNaughton as well. Bracken into turn 2, DeVos around the outside. Bracken has it. And
it's in a straight line speed.
Yeah, and here comes McNaughton though. McNaughton's actually done, he couldn't have done turn 2 any worse if he tried. And he's made a complete meal of that. Here comes the Voss though. Straight line speed for the win. Goodness me, Bracan tries to brake late. And he's going to try and hold on around the outside. Yes. Well done.
That was
great.
What
a fantastic defensive move there from Maurice Bracan. He'll be hoping, beyond hope, that Adrian McNaughton can provide some sort of support fire here, because he just wants to secure that P11 for his team, and he's being harassed by DeVos.
That was a fantastic move. As wow, that was a back marker off the track that made me jump a bit. Didn't expect that. It was Pelkonen again. But yeah, I think McNaughton's now going to start fighting for that position, which should more secure P11 for Maurice Bracan. It's now just a fight for 12th as they head round for 4 laps to go, 35 complete.
But DeVos suddenly looking a lot more under pressure than he was 2 laps ago. From the predator to the prey, one might say. And McNaughton certainly in with a shout there of P12. Looking back, Patrick Gatewood in P14. You said he might be on with a chance of points, and he's doing the right things, isn't he? Well...
Yeah, I saw this a little bit earlier.
We thought this was going to be game over for Gaia. Not so. He's found something from somewhere. And the German wants to take that podium back, doesn't he? Kevin Siggy, not out of the woods.
Oh, McNaughton!
Oh, McNaughton! Oh, what happened to you? Oh!
Just pulled fuel?
Oh! Oh, he just comes to a halt on the turn 4 straight and off he goes. That didn't look like fuel to me.
No, it's not input stopper. He's not like disconnected his wheel or anything.
He stopped
either.
deliberately, didn't he?
Well, I would have thought if he'd have just I don't know.
That is confuzzling, but I tell you what that does do. That moves Mike Bell up into the points. So there we were, thinking that he was going to have no chance of points. He's into 14th. What happened to Lopez timing? Get your internet sorted out, Fran.
Yeah.
That is very annoying.
I also just received a whisper from Sven that said sorry, so I assume that's because I predicted him as race winner, and he's not. But still, there's time, Sven.
What I'm wondering is how on earth did he whisper you?
You've got a long straight. You can type on that.
Right, okay, well. Lap 38 to 39, our penultimate lap here at Hockenheim Race 1. The race lead has ever extended since Pushka came out of the pits. The gap is now 5.6 seconds. It is Pushka's to lose, as I say. And he's done a fantastic job, really. Great job. Behind, Kevin Siggy and Florian Guy are still in close proximity for the final podium position. And I tell you what, Florian Guy, if he gets turn 2 and turn 3 right, he could be having a little look down into the hairpin. Big lag, yeah. And a bit of a wiggle it seemed from Gaia as well, so Siggy might be safe for another lap.
Yeah, I think that might have been Gaia reacting to the lag as well. That was a scary moment. You always see it when some cars fly about in front of you. You are very, very cautious into some of the corners. That's very close to the back of Siggy's car. Into the hairpin from Florian Gaia, but yes, those two very, very close. I'm surprised that Gaia's kept that close, but a good drive nonetheless from Gaia, even though it was from pole position.
It's points nonetheless, isn't it? And especially in consideration of, you know, their battle with Satellite, it merely enforces their role in that second position, and indeed, considering the events of today, reels in Adonis Engineering at the same time.
Indeed. Adonis not having the greatest run. Currently running in their highest driver in 6th, which is Jason Muscat, the other out of the race a bit earlier on.
So let's see here. Patrick Gatewood into 13th now. Fran Lopez 14th. Mike Bell 15th. Only 18 runners and riders left.
Yeah, I did think you said it. You said it that Gaia.
Jeez.
Look. But
well, here's last lap, isn't it?
Absolutely. But you said it, you know, the DNFs were going to be fairly high at this track, and they are indeed.
As Philip Pushka laps Mike Bell. That is P15. they are lapping.
Yeah, Gaia,
Crazy
absolutely.
stuff. And, oh, Gaia, yep. Oh, here we go for the podium. Gaia takes it. And, oh, a bit of contact from Siggy, and he's actually got a pretty decent run out of that corner as well. The gap at the front is 7 seconds between Pushka and De Vries, but this is the battle we're interested in now. It's all contact between the two. Siggy, oh, he wants that podium, and Gaia just has the perfect line. I wonder whether we're going to... Oh, watch out.
I think that's it.
That might very well be it, but never say never. We saw Burlak and Strana come to blows in the penultimate lap. Anyway, round the final 2 corners he comes. From third on the grid to take the win in his home race. His third race win of the season is Philip Pushka for PB Racing, putting them back on top. A fantastic win for the Germans. Sven de Vries will come home in second. Florian Gaia will hold on to third, so it's 2 Germans on the podium. Wonderful effort from our pole man. Kevin Siggy loses out at the very last. What a shame. P4 for the Austrian. Tom Parker, desperately quiet race. Comes home P5 with Jason Muscat and Menno Klon ever so close. And could Muscat get him on the line here? Oh, yes, he doesn't. Oh, there was 200ths in it, though. That was very close. Muscat ahead of Klon. Scott Beresford comes home P8 for TSA. Great run. Jesper Torborg on debut comes home P9. For Waters, a great show of things to come if he chooses to move up to Super Cup next year. Maurice Bracan! Oh, because of all that shenanigans, he does come home P10, so there is a chance that the German could get a reverse grid pole position. But the Vos comes home P11. Also, was Santiago needs to make a mistake? Because he's down in P12. Oh, Santiago. What can you do? Anyway, Patrick Gatewood, my word, comes home P13 just ahead of Fran Lopez, who comes home P14, and Fran Lopez is P14, sorry. Mike Bell rounds out the point scorers.
Yeah.
There we go. And I tell you what, especially as he can run the option tyres to the end of the sprint race as well, could be one to watch. So, great win for Philip Pushka. Fantastic race all round once again. High attrition rate. Your retirements, by the way, were Adrian McNaughton, Naskari Canton, and Timu Toika, Nigo DeConic, Dawe Tapper, Manuel Gaxella, Riku Sarpia, Christoph Lichtenstein, and Dan Rusu, and Dewald Nell. Your reverse grid candidates are Muscat, Klont, Beresford, Torborg, and Bracan.
Yeah, so another interesting race. If maybe not for the lead, it was all pretty much sorted after the stops. Fantastic drive from Pushka to secure that by quite a hefty margin, to be honest, by the end of the race.
Yeah, 7 seconds.
So great stuff. But yes, interesting race. What will that mean for the second, and who will have reverse grid pole?
We shall certainly find out in the once my R factor loads. Who should start the race there, though? I mean, there's so many candidates to choose from.
There were a lot of candidates, but you know, I can't look past the race winner himself. It was just a superb drive to take the win. If it was someone from the mid pack, it would probably be between Scott Beresford and Jesper Torborg, who did a great drive to P8 and P9. But I'm going to have to go for Pushka. That was a really good drive.
Right then, let's find out who's on reverse grid pole. Unfortunately, no Victor Silva to root for. Actually, to be fair, he's been a bit off the boil, hasn't he, recently? Not getting as many pole positions as we expect from him in the reverse grid anyway. But to remind you, the candidates are Jason Muscat, twice a race winner. Menno Klont, race winner. Scott Beresford, not a race winner. Neither has he had a podium nor a pole position. Jesper Torborg, debutant to this series. And Maurice Bracan, who's in a similar situation to Scott Beresford. Your reverse grid number for Hockenheim Race 2 is number 10.
Hey, wow, we're at full reverse grid again.
And Maurice Bracan, after all of that, will be thanking his lucky prayers that Santiago Niza bottled it. Because he's now taken that reverse grid. So there we go. Your front 2 rows are going to be Bracan and Torborg, Beresford and Klont, and Muscat there in P5 as well. Who knows who will win that race? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, the form. Apologies. The form before this event had been before, actually it was a few rounds ago. The winner of the first race had gone on to win the second race of the evening. This was something that stopped in Monaco, returned in Canada, but hasn't actually occurred over the previous 2 rounds in Austria and Great Britain. The winners have actually been different in both races. So I'm wondering if that will be a factor again here in Germany. I feel like it would be based on Pushka's pace, but I don't know. I've got this tingling feeling that something might happen to Pushka in the race. Not as a really negative thing, but I don't think he's going to be able to, get up to that winning position. I also want to see what tyres everyone starts on before making a large prediction. But it's going to be a very interesting race.
The thing which got me is that the top 4 in the race were the top 4 in qualifying. Now, I know that sounds like it should make absolute sense to you.
Yeah,
that rarely ever happens.
Yeah, that does rarely happen.
So, we've said that overtaking's a bit of... Well, it's not that overtaking initially is a hard thing to do. It's keeping that position over the course of a lap. And, you know what? I would not put it past any of those top 5 to win this race. I think that De Vries, Pushka, Gaia, Siggy, I reckon those 4 are going to get held up, actually.
Yeah, I do as well, especially with the wing split. I know Jesper's going to be running really low rings, so is, I think Beresford is running low wings, but not really low.
Like a medium setting, the conservative setting.
Yeah, fairly. Yeah, with enough grip, but there's a decent amount of straight line speed. I know that wasn't really the focus. That might change for the second race, considering his position. But that was what he was comfortable with in the practice session. So, be interesting to see what happens to him. But I absolutely agree. I think they'll get held up, and I don't know if it's going to be a new winner to Super Cup, which would mean it would have to be from the top lot, Bracan, Beresford and Tolborg, I believe. Those would be the new winners, because I think everyone else has won a race. But I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, not a clue. Not even remotely.
So Canton to win then?
Yeah. Why not? Why not?
It could happen. You never know. We could have the bowling alley come to Hockenheim. It's happened,
Yes, and it could. Well, you think of it. If you're running into... and I was having this because my USB port has become fairly loose. And sometimes it disconnects. And when it disconnects in our factory, it doesn't reconnect. So if it disconnects, you'll keep full throttle into that hairpin. And that would be a very scary thing, especially if you're at the back of the field. So keep an eye out for anyone doing that.
Yeah, I can say I certainly have a similar thing with my controller. And it's scary.
Very much so.
Like, I've only had it happen to me a couple of times. The last time it happened to me was in Adelaide in the ITC, when I wasn't running too badly, actually. I was only looking for a couple of points then. But when it goes, you try to turn in or brake, and you don't. And then you think, oh... Get out the way.
You just go straight on, and then you try and escape, but it's like, no, you have to be staying completely still before you can escape this car, mister. So it's really not comfortable. It's never happened to me, and I'm glad. Oh no, it has once actually. I was driving a Mini and it happened, but other than that, it's never happened. So I'll keep hoping that it happens to no one. But as a prediction to a race winner,
you know me so well.
I'm going to go for... Okay. Tolborg. Why not? My boy.
On debut, your boy.
On debut, yeah.
Hey, you know what?
You're going to go for yours. You're going to go for Beresford.
I'm going to go for my boy.
Yeah, right, okay.
No bias.
Absolutely no
bias on the UltraNet Supercup broadcast. So, Dave, you're going to be hoping that Gaia or Parker wins then?
What?
Naturally, yeah.
Well.
Oh wow, okay, configured vehicle class does not pass filter. Marcel van der Linden.
That's a name
Welcome.
I've not seen in a long time.
Welcome to the room, Marcel. You're not supposed to be here, Marcel, though, unfortunately.
I wonder what car he tried joining in.
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
He must have tried to join in an Audi or something. I don't know. Oh, dearie, dearie me. Well, what will happen?
Oh. Beresford and Tolborg option tyres. Everyone else on the primes down to Mike Bell in 15th.
There are boys.
Oh.
Well. Formula Challenge. Cocky, they say. Does fortune favour the bold? We are going to find out very shortly. It's Maurice Bracan for PB Racing on what I think, I'm having a little thought in the back of my mind, this is his second reverse grid pole position of the year, I reckon. Hope I got that one right. Either way, he's there, and he'll be having to make the most of it. Jesper Torborg on the option tyres. P2 for Waters Automotive. Scott Beres of P3 for the 6-axis racing, also on the option tyres. Menno Klont, race winner, could be a dark horse. P4 for Multiforce. Jason Muscat, 2 times race winner. P5 for Adonis. Tom Parker, not being a race winner this year, but always want to consider. P6 for Simcraft. With Kevin Siggy, race winner this year. P7 for Positive. Florian Geyer, race winner this year. P8 for Simcraft with Sven de Vries, of course, our championship leader. P9 for Satellite with Philip Pushka rounding out the top 10 for PB. It's then Bart de Vos, P11 for Waters with Santiago Niza, P12 for Street Fighter. Patrick Gatewood, P13 for Multiforce with Fran Lopez, P14 for Mazurek. And then on the option tyres comes Mike Bell for Mazurek Racing ahead of Olli Pelkinen for FA Racing, P16. Mikko Jakinen also deciding to roll the dice for Scuderia Basilia on the option tyres. Bruno Sousa Ferrer for TSA starts P18 with Adrian Norton, P19 for Prime Compound, and James Kirk starts in the GPVWC SC League car. No, he doesn't. Nico DeConnick starts P20 for Satellite Racing with Dowie Tapper P21 for Street Fighter. Manuel Gaxella starts P22 for Storm with Riku Sarpia, P23 for Mazurek. Christoph Lichtenstein starts from the pit lane, interestingly. So Dan Rusu will start P24 for Prime. And Del Ordnell rolling the dice also on the option tyres for Fox Racing in P25. So we're missing 2 drivers. Not sure who they are, but well, their loss is looking to be a cracking race.
Is one of them.
Yeah. Maybe his leg has gone.
Yeah, maybe his knee has gone, absolutely. From what I've been told from Mr. Matt Richards, who's in with the lot that are starting on options, our boys and Mike Bell. Not my boy. But those options are going to the end of the race. That is it. This isn't like what we've seen from like Parker, where they've been for a pit stop. There is no planned pit stop for those lot. They are going to the end of the race, as should be expected, considering the position. But whether they will drop off is something which is going to be very interesting for this race. We'll have to keep an eye out for that. But this is going to be an interesting one.
It certainly will be. As the lights come on now, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights in here at Hockenheim for the second time this evening. We're off and away, and Jesper Torborg gets a great start. Oh my word! He did a Magnussen, and here goes Menno Klont down the inside. Bracan leads.
Oh,
what happened there? That was a huge crash somewhere. I'm not even sure what happened. So it's Bracan from Beresford and Torborg, Siggy up into 4th. Muscat, Gaia, Parker, De Vries, Lopez up to 9th, and go around the outside of De Vries as well. Oh, contact between the 2. Niza up into 10th. Klont all the way down to P11. Dowie Tapper up into 12th. Absolute madness. So who on earth went off there? I have no idea.
Parker.
Oh, Pushka. Pushka's out already. Race 1 leader.
Wow.
Out already.
Oh, Siggy straight up past. He's into P3.
Wow. Mind blown. What on earth happened there? Someone's left our channel. I don't know who. It's Dave Carr Smith. It doesn't... Bracan leads from Beresford. Siggy rising up onto the back of Beresford now. And Torborg is hanging on for dear life from Muscat, who is holding off Guy. He goes Lopez sealing down the inside of Tom Parker. Madness. So Sven de Vries there. Tapper into P10 now. It is absolute insanity here. Coming around the first lap, I don't even know what is going on anymore. Ooh. It's Bracan from Beresford, Siggy, Torborg, Muscat, Gaia, Lopez, Parker, De Vries and Tapper. Oh. Lewis, you make sense of this one.
Yeah, I see De Vries and Parker going side by side through turn 1. Gosh. Craziness. Absolute craziness. As I think Sven de Vries is now going to make his move on Tom Parker. But yeah,
no,
you say
not.
This. Well, yeah, absolutely. No, he's not. That is one crazy start, a great start for the positive boys. Fran Lopez timing, don't worry, Jesus, Fran, sort it out. Tolborg and Muscat going side by side down into the hairpin.
And this should be easy
Muscat
for the
straight
driver.
Past. The grip, though, of those options.
It's doing him good as we have our second retirement in the form of Nico de Koning. Muscat on the outside, Torborg going to look to the inside of the corner. I think he's just about going to hold it. Is Torborg? No, he isn't. Oh, Jason Muscat giving a bit of a clip around the ear. And Muscat then up into P4 and Torborg under heavy attack from Gaia. Those option tyres gave him a great, well, they gave him a Magnussen-like start, didn't they? But it wasn't good enough. Up at the front, Maurice Bracan leads by only 4 tenths of Scott Beresford. But Kevin Siggy is a man on a mission. Absolutely rising up to the back of Scott Beresford, and if he was only an underdog contender for the race win at the start, he's certainly in. As Pelkonen goes flying off, he's certainly a contender for the race win now.
Yeah, I said this before the event, he'd only had 1 podium technically, and now he's had his second one this evening and is going for the third, which would be a second race win of the 2014 UltraNet Supercup season, so he's definitely going for it. Scott Beresford, though, will try and stop that. I don't know what he's done with that rear wing. We'll have to keep an eye on Beresford, see if he can hold that P2 and maybe even move himself up into the lead. Obviously, your pick for the race win. At the moment, Kevin Siggy's looking like he's in a fantastic position to take that away.
Well, let's be fair, my race win, well, I said it was going to be Scott, didn't I? It was just for Torborg.
Straight up on Muscat.
Oh, as Gaia comes back in, but Torborg makes the move second. Well, what is happening down here? Santiago Niza down to P12, Dowie Tappan to P9. De Vries into P8, so it's Parker. Parker's gone down to P10. He's had a bit of an issue somewhere, but Torborg manages to stay ahead of Muscat. Great move back.
Yeah, absolutely. The gap between the lead is 1/10 of a second. It's 3 tenths between the top 3. Absolutely fantastic stuff in this second race. As will Maurice Bracan be able to hold on from Beresford and Siggy? I have got absolutely no idea. We've got 2 laps, 3 laps down at the end of this lap, and more craziness to come, I'm absolutely sure of it.
You keeping up with us, ladies and gentlemen? We're on to lap 4 of 22 here. Maurice Bracan leads by 1/10 of a second, and Scott Beresford, Kevin Siggy holding him back for just a bit now. The Englishman on the German. Let's avoid the World War II references, shall we? As Beresford into the back of Bracan. Let's see what can happen down into the turn 5 braking zone. Scott Beresford in the prime position here. How ironic to take the lead this race. We don't know whether he's going to pit, though. Here he goes for the lead of the race. Scott Beresford. Oh, he escorts Bracan out wonderfully well. And now here comes Kevin Siggy. Will Siggy take advantage of Bracan being overtaken? Into turn 6 we go. Now into turn 7 we go. Kevin Siggy once again breaks a little bit early, but Scott Beresford leads this race. Bracan looks to try and get onto the back of the Englishman now, but he can't do anything. It's very hard to overtake around that section of corners. But heading into the Mercedes section we go. Scott Beresford, his lead doesn't look secure at all, does it? Behind,
absolutely
Jason
not.
Muscat is into P4 ahead of Torborg, and Torborg now fending off Fran Lopez and Florian Geyer as well. He's got a real job in his hands. The Supercup's first Danish, actually no, it's not his first Danish driver. Morten Wernersen was there. Yes, for Torborg though, he's got a job either way. And Sven de Vries in P8 as well, rolling up into the back. And then Tom Parker, Tapper, round out of top 10. Bell 11th, Nies 12th, Klont 13th, Gatewood 14th, and Mikko Jakinen also on the option tyres into P15. But I tell you what, Scott Beresford in Sector 1 as Bart de Vos retires has opened up quite a nice gap, actually.
Absolutely.
5/10 of a second is the gap, and Maurice Bracan now's got to keep an eye behind him, because here comes Kevin Siggy. He's going to want the race win.
Yeah, I think Beresford's actually going to start pulling away from Brack and Lopez, Geyer and De Vries. Yeah, they're going too wide down to the hairpin. Geyer's going to get past Lopez. Bit of contact between the two of them.
Got to be careful.
Absolutely.
Gotta be careful. It's a good result as Lopez lighting up his rear tyres. And, oh, there's still... Oh, keep your handbags away, lady, steering me as Geyer looks to keep the position. Yes, he does. Actually, no, he's taking the position, is he? P6 is Lopez already outside! No, he was never going to get it done. Oh, dear Nicholas Sven De Vries, he lives for these occasions, doesn't he?
Oh, Darry Tapper straight through as well.
Oh, wow.
Very opportunistic.
Tapper up into P8 and De Vries up into P6. Opportunistic moves from the American and the Dutchman.
Tapper runs a bit wide. Fran Lopez looks to get back through, but doesn't quite do it.
He's got it. But hey, up at the front still onto lap 6 of 20. Oh, yes. What's happened to... no, don't mind me. Oh, it's Lopez getting back through on Tapper, sorry. Lead, still covered by a second, but Scott Beresford leads by 6/10. And from Siggy back to Jason Muscat, there is 3 seconds.
Yeah, I'm wondering what's going to be happening with Beresford. I know he's going to be going until the end of the race, and that was obvious from the first race that he got up to about lap 21 before returning to the pit lane. So, you know, we know his tyres can go fast. Siggy's going to get past Bracan this lap, though. Having a look down the inside. Nice passed up into P2. Yes, absolutely. Kevin Siggy up into P2. Now going to be right on the back of Scott Beresford. But whether those tyres will drop off... Oh, well, it's not whether, it's when, really.
Yeah.
Not yet, but possibly close to the end of the race. And will Siggy actually be able to catch up on the different compounds of tyres? All the questions to be answered in a few laps' time. As we continue this exciting race, Maurice Bracan taking a wide line into the arena section.
Got to remind ourselves it's a Super Cup, not Mastermind. And, well... What has Scott Beresford got up his sleeve? He did not last 22 laps at all in the feature race. The only person to do that was Mike Bell. And I can't help thinking he's going to pit halfway through. Because we've seen that strategy work before. And especially given the madness in the midfield, that might very well work for him. But I just can't see him winning this race at the moment on those option tyres, especially with Kevin Siggy of all people behind him.
Yeah, maybe. The thing is, as I've been told, the track temperature rather is slightly down on the previous race, which would help these tyres going that little bit further. It's half a second at the moment between the two leading drivers, but yeah, I'm just interested to see if these tyres they should make the distance, especially with the temperature's down a little bit. I was talking to Scott before the race, and he was saying that he was going to try and do it anyway, as Menoclot and Santiago Niza are going side by side further down in P12. But he said that they should have made the distance back then, but he wasn't really sure about risking it with the track temperature down on his original testing. They should make it to the end, so it is just an on-track battle against Kevin Siggy as to whether he can maintain this lead until the end of the race. Long time to go, but as I say, all the questions to be answered for later on in the race.
The full hands have yet to be shown in this metaphorical game of poker, and we shall certainly see what Kevin Siggy has got up his sleeve. Whether he can pull a rabbit out of the hat is the question. Whether Scott Beresford can provide us with the greatest trick of all, a race win on the option tyres, we wait and watch with anticipation. Interestingly enough, the gap between Bracan and Muscat has decreased only to actually no, it's gone back up to 3 seconds, sorry. So that gap is holding steady. Jason Muscat making little to no impact at all on the podium place, and in fact he's got Jesper Torborg to watch out for here. Now the Dane doesn't seem to be looking to make a move necessarily, but just wants to stick there, doesn't he? Sven De Vries in 6 is now under heavy attack from Florian Geyer, actually. Fran Lopez in 8th, Darry Tapper and Mike Parker in 10th, with Bell 11th still, Clont in 12th, Santiago Niza 13th, Miko Yakin still holding on in 14th, and Patrick Gatewood rounding out our point scorers in P15. On lap 8 of 22, your retirements so far are Philip Pushka, Bart DeVos, Nico DeConnick, and Riku Sarpia. The only person to go a lap down, Ollie Pelkinen in the FA Racing car.
Yeah, Maurice Bracan, the pole sitter, has dropped back quite a lot off this top lot. However, not quite into the clutches of Jason Muscat yet. He's got quite a way to go before then, so still a great drive, but you know, he's dropped off the back of this fight for the lead as they cross the line. It's 0.3 of a second as we completed the 8th lap. 14 to go. So quite away from halfway.
Absolutely.
This is going to be a very long race for Scott Beresford in his mind. Every lap will be exceptionally long.
Two-time Formula Challenge race winner was in with the shot of the title for sure. Chose to step up to Super Cup. I should know, I lost him as a driver, and he's a very good driver. I know him personally. He thought this move would do him some good. And I tell you what, he is showing every... You know, you look at the Formula Challenge stars of 2013 moving up into Super Cup and how much they have failed. And you look at Scott Beresford. This is the sort of impression we were expecting those Formula Challenge stars of last year to make. And you must wonder what's going through the minds of the like of Tapper and Gaxella. They must be thinking, how on earth has this guy come in and made such an impact already?
It shows the difference between the 2 years, and how just different the. Not saying like the speed in general, but just the way it's all working, how close the field is in Formula Challenge. Beresford was closer to that top. We're seeing Tolborg and De Vries getting very close in broadcast, as they're not going to go side by side to the first turn. A bit too much curb for Tolborg, however, which should allow De Vries straight through, but I think he might break a little bit early. No, he doesn't. De Vries straight through.
Absolutely. And oh, the lead. Siggy's through.
Wow.
Oh, we missed that. I think Beresford must have had a poor exit or something, but I tell you what, Beresford, he's going to have a go back, isn't he? And why not? Why not, one might say. They go into the braking zone. Siggy brakes really nicely and actually completely blocks off Beresford.
No, yeah.
Really nice move from Kevin Siggy, and so he takes the lead of this race from Scott Beresford. Maurice Bracan 2 seconds behind Beresford now, and 2.6 ahead of Jason Muscat. It would appear that top 3 is locked down for the moment. Plenty could still change though. De Vries, his next target is Jason Muscat, and well, that is a direct championship battle. But once again, this race could not have worked any better for De Vries, because Pushka made some inroads on his championship. He's now crashed out, not scoring any points. Jason Muscat lost points to De Vries, and unless he keeps him behind, he's going to lose yet more at the end of this race.
Yeah, it's not the dominance that we saw from Rainieri last year, but it's the It's just this consistency that we're seeing from Sven this season, and we saw it in Austria when he in the first race he didn't do too well, but in the second race he figured it out, went on to win that race, and started off this thing of this opposite of what we saw earlier on in the season, where the winner of race 1 didn't go on to win race 2, which we've seen in that round, the next round, and now of course this round with Pushka's retirement. So De Vries is sticking to it, and he's now going to have a move on Jason Muscat on the inside of the hairpin. I think he's going to be straight past.
Not if Jason can help it.
No, absolutely straight past.
And yeah, Gaia passed Tolborg as well. So
Tolborg dropping down the order.
Yeah, chopping and changing, isn't it? What's impressed me though is we're looking at these battles and the chopping and changing now. Sven De Vries up into 4th, Gaia up into 6th. Beresford has been able to stay within a second of Kevin Siggy.
I don't know if that'll hold off for too long. Yeah, I think it'll drop off a bit. Now, as we're approaching this lap, completion will be the halfway point of the race.
Oh, that's madness. Hey, Daryl Nell into
the
P14
points? Yes.
for Fox, and on the option tyre as well. And Manuel Gaxella as well from the back of the grid up into P15 for Storm. There is hope for them yet.
Yes, so Daryl Nell's done a great job to sit in P14, and say halfway to go. The gap between the lead is now over a second, but we'll see if Nell can hold that points-paying position. I'd be surprised if he can hold off Gaxella, but we'll just have to wait and see with those two and see where he finishes. But it's looking increasingly likely if Kevin Siggy doesn't stack it, he should be able to come around and win the race.
Here comes Gaia and Muscat now. Oh, it gets worse and worse for the Maltese driver, doesn't it? And clean around the outside goes Florian Gaia.
That was a move.
Clean. Muscat just doesn't have the pace, does he? And it's a real shame. But what can you do? Florian Gaia up into P5 now. I'll tell you why Nell is in that position. I've just noticed our latest retirement, Mikko Jakinen, unfortunately. crashing out for Scuderia Basilia. The only Scuderia Basilia to turn up as well, and Matteo Zandona providing the points boost for the team. Well, there isn't going to be a points boost to rely on this time, and it's looking better and better for their rivals, Waters Automotive.
Absolutely, who are having a fairly good evening running in this race in P7. Bart de Vos, an early retirement from the race, so shame for him, but Jesper Tolborg being their point scorer in P7. The next car behind him is Fran Lopez, who his teammate in other things not too long ago. We'll have to keep an eye on those two, see if they get close on track. But 1.6 seconds is the lead that Kevin Siggy currently has, so it's a good lead for the positive driver at the moment.
I've just noticed something, and it's completely bypassed me with Menno Klontz down in P19.
Yes, the winner of the previous sprint race not having such a good time here in Germany. And Dan Rusu retires from the race after an accident. He was running P20.
Oh wow, he just spun it completely out of turn 1. Lost his rear wheel, unfortunately. So, yeah, an unfortunate retirement for Dan Rusu again. Centurion. Yeah, as I say, their hopes for returning to Supercup next year not looking so good, unfortunately. And unless they find a star driver from somewhere, like Tumala or Koivunen, their saviours from last year, I'm afraid they are going to be looking to be making a move down, unfortunately, as someone needs to make room for the automatic promotion team from Formula Challenge. Back up at the front, Scott Beresford still in second position, now 2 seconds off Kevin Siggy. But then again, 2 seconds, a second ahead of Maurice Bracan, doing very well to hold
closing.
on. Bracan is indeed closing.
Yeah, Bracan is closing on that position. It was a couple of seconds not too long ago, so Bracan is looking to move up into P2, but their biggest threat at the moment will be Sven de Vries running in P4, closing right up to the back of the two of them. However, not as quickly as one would have thought from the championship leader.
If anything,
closing
Byron Muscat have brought themselves back into that battle, haven't they?
Absolutely, yeah. So that might be the saviour for the podium trio. Although I don't think De Vries, Geyer or Muscat would have anything to do with Siggy's current lead at the moment. It's a great one. That 2.4 seconds it currently is. The gap between P2 and P3, 9/10 of a second, been told about Fran Lopez and Jesper Tolborg, very close.
Jesper Tolborg is on the menu, and he's proving to be a popular choice for the drivers of this Supercup field. As Fran Lopez! Oh my word, he does a Strana Burlak, and he pushes Tolborg out wide. A bit unfair again, as I say, Fran Lopez being a naughty boy today, unfortunately. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him fall down the order of race 1 after multiple contacts, and it wasn't exactly the cleanest move on Tolborg, and that puts him to the vulture of Dawei Tapper now, looking to move up into P8.
Yeah, either then it's looking like it's going to be a double top 10 for the Formula Challenge race winner at this track. So that's still pretty good for Jesper. At the moment, he's going to come on the track from Dawei Tapper, who does a big dive bomb down the inside, gets that all sorted, and moves himself
Nicely
up
done.
into P8. Yeah, nicely done, nice clean move. Bit of lag there from the two of them, that's fine.
So, yep, Tolborg. How far down the road is Parker? Another 3 seconds or so. I'm not sure whether Parker's going to be able to catch up to that, to be honest. We're on lap 15 of 22.
I've also seen that P11 and P12 is currently held by Santiago Niza and Mike Bell, who have crashed into each other a great number of times this season, so that could be a hilarious one to watch at some point in the broadcast.
Absolutely. Patrick David in P13, Emmanuel Gagzella P14, and Bruno Sousa Ferreira in P15. Dewald Nell, unfortunately, seems to have had a problem. He's down in P18 now, but the battle which I'm interested in is the battle for P2. 6/10 is the gap between Bracan and Beresford, and it's about now that those option tyres are going to be hurting.
Yeah, I wonder if it's... I don't think it's because they're dropping off. I think it's because he's trying to conserve them to the end of the race. Because, you know, we've said this about the tyres dropping off and the thermal degradation, blah, 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 blah. I've been saying this for enough rounds now. But, you know, I'm just wondering if he's trying to conserve those tyres. If not, they are probably getting a little bit too hot. I mean, I would see this from my tyres. They do get a little bit hot. Lopez and Tapper tapping each other about as Lopez is on the inside for the hairpin. A bit more contact.
Can we kiss that
Handbags
one?
well and truly out. Not a very fantastic move. But still. I was told to say that pre-broadcast, so go and blame Mike.
Did you get like a chocolate for that or something?
Yeah, I hope
Bell
so.
and Nisa go into battle once again. Deary me.
Better be getting a chocolate for that.
What's it? It's like Freddo's or something? Galaxy?
One would hope.
You like saying one now. Have I converted you to the one?
Well, is it really you that's told me to do that? I don't know.
We're both rather posh, aren't we? So.
Well, like everyone's like, oh, Lewis, you sound so posh. I'm like, I'm not posh, right?
Well, I say the same, but then they say I'm posh as well.
Yeah, everyone thinks we're posh. Okay.
Tally ho!
Back to a 5th position, P2 and P3 currently running 4/10 apart. That gap ever coming down, and a few laps to go in the race. 6, I believe it is.
Yep.
And so you could assume that Bracan is going to be right on the back of Beresford any time soon, going for that 2nd place. The gap back to Sven de Vries is about 3 seconds, so a long way back.
Hey,
Gaia, yes.
Here comes Gaia around the outside. De Vries is not having it his way. And, Gaia gets a great exit. De Vries really messes that one up, and so the German up into P4 once again. And, well, Maurice and Scott could be saved here by the race winners amongst the field, squabbling away, really.
Wow, that was a great move from the pole sitter of the previous race. But yeah, great move from Gaia to move up into P4. He might have to keep his eye on his mirrors as Sven de Vries is having a look, but for the moment, P4 is his. Possibly for another few corners. The gap between P2 and P3 has actually extended a little bit. It went up to about 0.8 of a second, come down to 6 through that final sector.
We're hearing through from our lovely cameraman, Dave Cosmith, that apparently Scott Beresford has done his personal best lap on those option tyres. You mad, Bracan?
Yeah, I said that those tyres aren't probably going to be dropping off too much. It's whether he's conserving them or not.
As our Muscat looking on Sven de Vries as well. What has happened to Sven de Vries? All of a sudden, his pace has just flatlined.
Yeah, he did a 20.4 earlier on in the race, and then it's been a 9.5, a 9.5, and then a 1 flat. So it's quite an odd thing when you look back on his times, but he's been fairly consistent, to be honest.
Oh,
Tapper and Lopez have been around, we've been told.
Let's have a little look here.
Oh, Tapper round again.
So Tapper goes to the inside of Lopez, and oh, dearie me, Lopez just completely cuts Tapper off.
That was pretty bad, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, it's not just bad, it's stupidity, and you would have thought they would have learnt from his earlier races as well. And, well, Tapper thankfully comes back in P10, so not all is lost for the Dutchman, and it gives Jesper Torborg and Tom Parker an extra position, but Lopez needs to calm it down a lot. I mean, he's been, looking for good drives, and he's been saying to people, look at me, I can do well. Not if you're going to act like that in the race. I mean, his racecraft today has been, quite frankly, shocking, and it's evident on the broadcast here today.
Yeah, he just needs to cool himself off and look for another round. I thought Jesper just went off track then, but it was just a bit of lag, so it's okay. But yeah, shame for Tapper. Gaia round. Wow, what happened?
Oh, let's have a look here. Yep, he just lost it on his own. Oh, well, Sven de Vries back up into P4, Jason Muscat into P5, and Florian Gaia into P6 as Fran. Oh, that's just timing again, dearie me. But hey, even the best of people make mistakes, and Florian Gaia down to P6, unfortunately for him. Meanwhile, okay, so Fran Lopez into P7, Torborg into 8th. Okay, everyone's sorting themselves out now.
Yeah.
Lap 19 of 22, soon to be lap 20 of 22, which Siggy is heading on to. His gap back to, amazingly still, Scott Beresford is 4.1 seconds, and Maurice Bracan once again is close to Beresford, and could this be the time for Bracan just strike. I was saying it was looking ominous that Scott Beresford was able to hold on for so long, but surely he has got to be hurting now. And Bracan, he seems to be lining up the move, doesn't he?
Yeah, 2.9s in a row for Beresford. It's meant that Bracan is right on the back of him. He's going to have to hold way to the inside for the hairpin, but I don't think even that's going to be enough.
Here we go. Bracan for P2. Clean around the outside.
Yeah, pole sitter there, just straight around.
That was coming. And so I think really, objective for Scott Beresford now, keep your eyes behind.
Oh,
make
Parker's
sure
passed
P3.
Tolborg.
Indeed he has. And
Tolborg down to P9.
Yeah, so that did happen actually. Well, I said Parker was going to catch up. He has, evidently. But yes. Beresford into P3 now.
De Vries closing.
Yeah, De Vries is left Muscat and Gaia.
Wow!
As
also,
pigeon food.
Yeah, his times. He did a 21.0, and then after that did a 20.2 and a 20.3 back to back. And this lap is looking like it's going to be a pretty good one as well. As he crosses the line, I'll tell you what it is, and it's a 20.2. So he is lapping extremely quickly as Sven de Vries at the moment, much faster than the two in front, who's done a 21.6 and a 20.4 for Bracan.
Look at
PB
this.
for Bracan.
He is just rolled up to the back of Scott Beresford.
Indeed, the once race leader. And that car's led quite a few laps this season in the hands of Beresford and, of course, Matt Richards a bit earlier on in the season. But it's not won a race. It's not even had a podium. And it doesn't look like today is going to be that day either.
It's going to be a good result for Scott Beresford. Don't get us wrong. It's going to be a fantastic result. But the podium is out of reach, unfortunately. The option tyre compound, I think the risk worked for him.
Absolutely.
But in terms of the podium, not so. Sven de Vries easily through on the Englishman. And he's looking at his second... Well, he is pretty much guaranteed his second podium of the night is Sven de Vries, showing once again why he is championship leader.
Yeah, and he's going to be extending that championship lead by a long way tonight. Is Sven de Vries. So, you know, considering just what we were thinking pre-season, he wasn't one that I was thinking it was going to be in this championship hunt, but clearly proving to us that he is absolutely the man for it, as he's going to be extending his lead way past 50 points. He's obviously at 50 points pre-event. Jason Muscat's now right at the back of Scott Beresford. He's probably going to fly past. It's looking like it could be a top 5 for Beresford as we are on the final lap of the race. But he's definitely going to lose that.
Oh, he's absolutely. Muscat flies past. I don't think there's going to be much. Yeah, Scott Beresford choosing to just stick behind, you know, keep the points that you have. Because as I say, this is still a fantastic result for the Englishman. He's just got to hope that he can hold off Gaia for now. But in the lead of this race lies Kevin Siggy. The Austrian leads by 4.8 seconds from undoubtedly the star of the race, Maurice Bracan. Done a fantastic job to hold it in P2, and where his teammate crashed out on lap 1, he's been there to pick up the pieces. Coming around the final few corners now, though, comes our now 2-time race winner. His teammate's going to be in a lot of trouble, but he won't care one bit. Kevin Siggy wins his second race of the season. He becomes the sprint race winner here at Hockenheim. A fantastic...
Oh, Gaia spun!
Oh, Gaia!
Went into the back of Beresford.
Well, well, well. Bracan, first podium in Supercup. He will be ecstatic with that. De Vries, P3, extends his championship lead from Jason Muscat, P4. Scott Beresford, an excellent P5. Florian Gaia, despite spinning, still comes home P6. Fran Lopez, P7. I doubt that will be a P7 for long. Tom Parker, P8. David Tapper did get past Jesper Torborg, actually, who comes home P9. The option tie is working well again for him. Santiago Niza, P11. So actually a pretty good, consistent round for Niza. Mike Bell, P12. I think that's the first time this season he scored points in 2 races consecutively. Emmanuel Gagzella from the back of the field scores P13. Multiforce get more points through Gatewood in P14. And Adrian McNaughton also crashing out. Makes up for it. He comes home P15.
Yeah, so that was, again, another interesting race. Kevin Siggy taking his second win of the season. A great job from him. Now cruising around with teammate Fran Lopez, as you said, as you've alluded to. could be looking at quite a lot of trouble, and neither result holding post-race. That's, of course, if things are reported. But nevertheless, a fantastic drive for Kevin Siggy, and a great drive from Sven de Vries. But what about Maurice Bracken finishing in P2? What a result for him.
20 points is going to rocket him up the table for sure.
Absolutely.
I'm just sorting out points, by the way. So, I mean, fair play to Beresford as well. Not a podium, maybe, but that entire run absolutely worked out.
I've just been told, though, the percentages of Tolbob and Beresford, their percentages over the line. For Jasper, it was 1% on his tyres.
So he was about to blow.
And for Beresford, it was 6 when crossing the line. So
they were about to blow. It
paid off, of course, but it was definitely a struggle to get that sorted to the end of the race. But fantastic drive nevertheless for Scott Beresford. That's why he did drop off those tyres just, a couple of laps too far for them. But still, a great race to take us 20 races this season, as I was saying, and not a boring one amongst them.
Absolutely not. Well, let us start with podium interviews. I'm just thinking, have I done something wrong here? 200. Let's see, it's 23 points, 289, 290. I don't know what I've done wrong there. Oh well. Actually, no, that does make sense. Let us start then with Kevin Siggy. Decent race 1, unfortunately knocked off the podium at the very last, but P4 nevertheless is a fantastic result. And then you come home to take P1 in race 2, your second race win of the season. A pretty successful event for you.
Oh yeah, I'm very happy for it. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm speechless. I'm just speechless again. Oh my god.
You sound it. Well, it must be said, your teammate is looking at an awful lot of penalties. His event was scarred with terrible moves and punting people out of the way. You, for once, seem to have it lovely and clean. You're making fantastic moves and really helping out your team, and certainly pulling clear of Multiforce in the battle for 5th.
Well, about Fran, yeah, he is a little bit aggressive, but I think he just has to learn a little bit about some overtakes and stuff. He's just lunging all the time, but he's a great driver. He's a great driver and all, but just a little more practice, and he would be better than me, a lot better.
That's very nice of you to say, I think. Well, we're heading to the Hungaroring next. And you are a man in form, one would say. What are your thoughts on that track? Is it one you like, you dislike? Are you aiming for more podiums there?
I think this track is my worst track in the season. This one I hated as well, but
didn't seem to do you too much harm.
Maybe. I think that the tracks that I hate, I always finish good, and the tracks that I love, I always finish very bad. I don't know. Just I hope to be at least on the podium again on the Hungaroring. Just something.
Something would certainly be good. Well done on your race win once again, Kevin. Lovely to have you with us. And on to our race 1 winner now, Philip Pushka from P3 on the grid. Came through like Siggy to take the race win, a dominant race win as well at that. And then race 2, we have absolutely no idea what happened there. Could you shed some light on that?
Yeah, it was basically a turn 1 mess. I think Menno got wide and clipped the anti-cut pretty hard, and his car went to left to right, left to right. I had to choose where to go. I just lifted a bit, and then I touched him a bit, and then I got a big hit from behind, and both wings are gone, and
it was a real shame for you as well, because you're looking so good at your home track. You are still within, surprisingly, 100 points of the lead, but is the championship beyond your reach, do you think? You've only got 7 rounds to go.
I think it's too late. Yeah. I think it's too late because I had too many races where I made mistakes. I had bad luck like this race, and Sven is just too consistent to beat at the moment, and yeah, have to admit that.
Absolutely. Well, perhaps we could then therefore bring in Sven on this one, extending your lead once again. You now on 351 points. Your closest rival, Jason Muscat, on 292. Apologies to the viewers, I got the numbers all wrong. Your lead is 59 points. So now, actually, going into Hungaroring, even if you non-score, you will still be ahead in the championship. I mean, it's been dominance in the way of consistency for you this year, and you've proven it once again with 2 podiums here today. How long do you think you can keep this run going?
We'll see. Today was a close call. I definitely wasn't the fastest on track today. I had a little bit of luck in qualifying. I saw Oscari behind me, so I figured for my last lap I'd, tuck up behind him, try to get some slipstream, and that got me P2 on the grid. I already expected Pushka to be quite a bit faster, and I managed to gyre in, I think, was it the hairpin in lap 1? And after that I had a gap of a second, but I was gone on like 2 laps, so I figured, I'll try the same strategy as I did in China. Let Philip pass and try to slipstream and save tires. Fortunately, a little quicker than I thought he'd be, and managed to pull away. And I even had to pit a lap earlier than him. So I just, I gave it all I had. I lost about a 10th a lap, and I couldn't do anything. So thumbs up to Philip. Was definitely a fast guy out on track. Then race 2 was. I'm not sure what happened at the start. I got blocked when trying to. I'm not sure who, one of the positive cars, and then I missed the tire wall on the right by like an inch, if even. So very lucky there. Unfortunately, I fell back to P9 after I thought I'd taken a couple guys. So it took me quite a lot of overtaking and struggling to get back in 3rd position. But in the end, consistency is key, I guess, in this championship. So 2nd and 3rd. I guess I take more points home overall than my competitor, so can't complain.
It's just the nature of Supercup this year, isn't it? Close margins, and well, to be fair, it's not exactly a close margin in that championship lead of yours. How confident are you on taking the title now? Because Philip has all but ruled himself out here, and Jason doesn't seem to be able to get anywhere near the podium these days.
Well, the championship's long. I mean, I can still lose it, so anything can happen. But at the moment, yeah, it's looking good. I mean, it's good to work together with some guys. Obviously, Ruud's helped me a lot, and special thanks to Paul McKenna as well today. So everything went very well, and we'll see what the rest of the season brings.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us, Sven, and also thank you for joining us, Philip, earlier in that conversation. Let's bring in now a first race podium man, Florian Geyer, who actually took pole position at your home circuit. That must be a pretty special feeling doing that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the qualifying was okay. I think I was in the P1 quite early, and Philip later got me. Yeah, and it was just one last run at the end, the last few minutes. Yeah, and it got me pole. Was quite a clean lap, and my personal best. So yeah, I was happy with that. The start was actually not too bad this time. I think I managed to stay ahead the first few corners, but even my lower wings didn't help me to defend from Sven and Philip. So stayed behind them. Yeah, but they were just a bit too quick. I had Kevin behind me. Yeah, but I figured out it would be better to stay behind him as he was a bit faster as well. Yeah, but I saved tires and could stay out 1 or 2 laps longer than the others, and this actually got me quite close. I think I had more than 5 seconds gap to the leaders, and after the stop it was like 2.5. So that worked out well, and yeah, I got Kevin in the closing stages of race 1, which was was good on the podium. Yeah, race 2 it was carnage. On lap 1, yeah, just cars all over the place, and apologies to Sven. I had nowhere to go, and I think he just hit me slightly on the back, which maybe gave both of us damage. But yeah, I finally got points in race 2. Actually, I've been so unlucky in most of the sprint races so far. And it's good to finish finally again. Overall, I think it was a good weekend for the team. We got closer to Adonis, which is our goal, to somehow catch them if it's possible. Congratulations to Kevin again on this race 2 win, and
It was a good.
That's
it was a
positive.
good race. It was good races. There we go. It's all good. Right. Thank you very much for joining us, Florian. Got to move on quickly here. We've still got 2 more people to go. Maurice Bracan, welcome to the interview chat. Got to be not only your race of the season, but surely your race of your Super Cup career. Your first podium in the Super Cup, and you did it in style as well with a P2.
Yeah, thank you very much. More than just happy. First race where everything went good. All other races were, well, to forget. Like the first one today, had a good pace, but, well, wanted too much, pushed the car, and went on the grass. Spun, and went back to, I guess, 16th. But yeah, I'm very happy.
You've certainly been a man who's been showing a huge increase of form, certainly looking to threaten top 10 more and more often now. Has that been your aim throughout the season, or do you think you're going to be able to consistently stay in that sort of position in the last 7 rounds now?
I would love to. I think I had the pace in the first races as well, but as I said, I nearly got 50% DNF this season, so I think that says it all. The pace is not bad. I think it would be very, very lovely if I could stay in the top 10 for the next races, but we'll see. I'll try to, and hopefully I will do another podium. That would be more than just great, but we'll see.
I can relate to you on the amount of DNFs, trust me, and it's a painful thing to have, but I can also relate to you getting that podium as well, and we are all very pleased for you. You absolutely deserve it, and thank you for joining us, Maurice. We certainly hope to see you on the podium again sometime this season. And then, finally, he hasn't had a podium today, but he's special in our hearts for the drive that he made today. Welcome, Scott Beresford. It's lovely to have you with us in the Super Cup channel. And, well, Option Tyres, myself and Lewis thought you were pushing the boat a bit when you were doing that. And I was even thinking that you might have pit stopped like we've seen before with the likes of Tom Parker and Gaxella. Ended up working perfectly for you, though. I mean, you missed out on a podium, but P5, brilliant for TSA.
Yeah, it's a lot better than I was expecting. In race 1, I went further than I thought I could on the options, so that's what made me sort of consider it. And I was talking to Mike about it, and he was telling me about the tyre drop off and how much I'd lose. And I'm horrendous on the prime tyres, so I thought I'm just going to go for it and see what I can rinse out of it.
Well, you rinsed a lot out of it. I mean, P5, I think I shouldn't be mistaken. That might very well be TSA's top finish of the year. I think. Certainly can't remember Matt Richards achieving that higher result. But for you, obviously you're a promotee mid-season from Formula Challenge, and you look at the other Formula Challenge guys around you, and they're sort of, in and around the top 10. You've, seen Dawe Tapper get podium, one podium, I should say. Is that the ultimate aim for you, to get a podium in Super Cup? Because I know that you're considering your open wheeler career as a whole after this season, so surely you must have 1 or 2 things in the bucket list to do before you make that decision at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to get a podium. That is sort of that would be the ultimate goal at the minute. That would be like a race win for me. But I'm hoping for top 10s every race at the moment, if not points. So yeah, I'm just looking short term, really.
Well, let's hope that you do some good stuff in the future races. Hungaroring a good track for you?
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see indeed. Well, thank you very much, Scott. Thank you to all of our interviews. We've had a good bunch of you today. It's lovely to have some company for once, apart from us lonely three in the commentary box. Well, if you thought Hockenheim Super Cup race was exciting with lots of crashes, then may I suggest you tune in tomorrow for the Super League. We had Harley Hamnet taking an incredible first win last time in Britain. I've said to any of the doubters that Super League is going to get better this season, and I reckon Hockenheim might be a cracker. I'm predicting a new race winner for tomorrow. So we'll see whether that goes ahead then. Next Monday, if you like even more crashes, then you'll love the Norris Ring. The International Touring Cup heads there for 20 laps a pop of pure carnage, I would imagine. God help everyone who's taking part in that, including myself and Lewis probably. Then, next Wednesday, indeed, next Wednesday then, we head to our last World Sports Series event before our GPVWC's summer break. That'll be the Hungarian Sports Series, and then all starts over again in 2 weeks' time. The Career Ladder Formula Challenge on the Tuesday from the Hungaroring, and you can join us in 2 weeks' time on Wednesday for Super Cup from the Hungaroring. I'd just like to take this moment to thank our amazing cameraman once again, Dave Carr Smith, for spotting everything and doing cameras. He's been brilliant all season. A big thank you to my co-commentator Lewis McGlade for being there as always and making sure that I'm right with maths equations and everything. I've been James Kirk. Join us in 2 weeks' time, and from all of us here, it's a very warm goodbye.